Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
Back in your life on this Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. Welcome back to our brand new New York City studio. And the beauty of doing a daily show, Monday we did a show, our first show, Tuesday we did a show. Here we are on a lovely Wednesday. And you know how I know it's lovely? Look outside. Yes, look at that sky. Look at that real window showing us the sky. We make tweaks. We make tweaks along the way. Now, hello to the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you notice anything different. If it's a little more crystal clear, if it's a little poppier, if the colors are jumping out at you. We're making tweaks, my friends, as we go. It's not fake, by the way, the window. It's not fake. I will prove it to you. I've now actually asked the airline people to fly at approximately 1:16 p.m. They're going to fly with a banner. You're going to see it. It's going to be fantastic. Give us a thumbs up if you see me loud and clear. Give us a thumbs up if it's crystal clear, HD, 1080p, perhaps even 5K. We're introducing that, and we are going to continue to improve and make it better. Do me a favor. Go back to the first episode, the Return to the MMA Hour, about 3 years ago now, a little over. Go back and look how I looked then, and go back and look how I looked back in July, 3 years later. Things are changing. Things are evolving. We continue to upgrade. And so I'm so happy to be here on a beautiful Wednesday and on the nose Wednesday. That's when we shoot. And we got a lot to shoot. And you know, I said on Monday's program that we were back, my friends. And I said on Tuesday that we were back on a Tuesday, and it's rare to do a show on a Tuesday. And of course, Wednesday is old hat. But I actually lied. I lied to all of you, and I want to apologize to all of you for lying. Because in fact, in retrospect, we were not live on Monday. We were not back on Monday. We were not back on Tuesday either. We are actually officially back on this Wednesday, October 16th. When the book is written on the Ariel Helwani Show era, the Uncrowned era, uncrowned.com, everything that we're doing. When the book is written, go back to Wednesday, October 16th as day one. Do you know why? Do you know why, guys? Frank, do you know why?
I'm kind of afraid to know.
Frank, hit the breaking news. We are officially back today. Today is day one of the new era. Yesterday was -1. Monday was -2. Do you know why today is day one of the new era?
Is it because of the on the nose?
No, it's not because of on the nose, but it's a good attempt on your part. It's because, Frank, we're officially back because the haters are out. They're finally out, and it was only going to be officially back season once the haters came out. And so hello, Bilal. Hello, Ali, and all my good friends out there. Once they finally took stock, you see how much they missed us? They had to react after day 1 and 2. They couldn't help. The real estate is better than rent-free. They couldn't help themselves. They had to find the one little morsel to react to get all up in arms about, to start throwing out words and accusations and insults, temper tantrums, because we're back in their lives because there was a void. There was a void in their lives. 3 long months, no interviews, no shows, no in-studio shows. And you do one, and all of a sudden you get all kinds of reactions. And so we are now back. The haters are out, and we welcome them all. One and all, come here. Come, listen, sit back, relax, grab a cup of peppermint tea, a little shot of whiskey, an espresso, whatever it is you want. Welcome, please. We welcome you all, and we welcome you with peace and love. You will hit us with temper tantrums. We will hit you with peace, love, and a big old hug, and maybe even a kiss. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the life. Congratulations on especially being in a spot in your life, and I'm referring to Ali in particular, on being in a spot in your life where you're so dependent on one particular man that you have to continuously kiss that man's tuchus, and that is a Yiddish term. Look it up. That is the behind of a man. You have to kiss his tuchus repeatedly. You have to tag him. You have to thank him. You have to continuously praise him, because without that man, you are cut off. Meanwhile, here, we are independent. We are solo. We are thriving. We are expanding. We are growing. We're making things happen. We're building empires solo, irregardless and independent of anyone's help, anyone's support, anyone having to give us a pass, anyone having to bless us and say, no, you are okay because you kiss our tachas. So it's a beautiful life. It's a life that we are thankful for. It's a life that we continue to be grateful for. And it's a life that we welcome everyone to join in on and to take part in, because this is the way to live one's life. We have seen the light. We have seen it, and it is glorious. Is it not glorious, Frank?
It is glorious.
Have you seen the light?
I have seen the light.
You know yourself. You know yourself, Frank. It is glorious, and we've got another great show for all of you on this beautiful Wednesday in New York City. They're working on buildings over there. You see it? You see the buildings?
Is that a crane there? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I mean, what about our crystal clear picture? Picture still looks dark and grainy? That's an absolute lie. Later in the program, we're going to be joined by Brandon Royval, who had a massive win over Tatsuro Taira. He beat Tatsuro Taira on Saturday at the Apex. And my favorite part of the win, it was a great fight. It was a great win. But I have to say, the post-fight interview was absolutely amazing. Did you guys see the post-fight interview? It was spectacular. He gave him props. He said he'd help him out. He wants to be the number one contender. He has a strong case. Obviously, Kaya Sakura is going to be fighting for the belt on December 7th. That's going to be against Alexandre Pantoja. But the man has a strong case. He's been on quite the roll this year. So he'll join us at 4. At 3:30, we're going to go back to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where, of course, our good friend Ariel Helwani joined us yesterday. He's going to actually, not he's going to join us. Johnny Eblen's going to join us. Johnny Eblen is fighting on Saturday against Fabian Edwards in a rematch of a fight that happened a little over a year ago for the Bellator middleweight title back then. They're fighting for the, Super Fights belt. Are the belts actually even on the line? I should probably know this. Are there belts on the line on this card? I don't even know. PFL Super Fight.
Super Fights pay-per-view belt, I think.
No, it's a Bellator middleweight title fight. According to Tapology, and they would never lie. Cyborg and Pacheco are fighting for the PFL Featherweight Super Fights Championship, and Ngannou and Fajeda are fighting for the PFL Super Fight Championship belt, but it seems like Eblen's fighting for his belt or defending his belt. Anyway, Johnny Eblen, one of our favorites, he'll join us at 3:30. On the nose, prior to that, Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, obviously one of the greatest of all time, 11 straight title defenses, UFC flyweight champion, pioneer for the flyweights, eventual one championship champion as well, bantamweight champion, and recently retired fighter will join us in, I think, his first interview since retiring. Of course, he has a great YouTube channel produced by our good friend Michael Wansover. Love talking to DJ. He'll join us at 2:15. And Chris Eubank Jr., EJ's favorite fighter, is going to join us at around 1:30. But it is, look at that. We've got our whole team right there. There's the squad. Regulators, mount up. Hope you've enjoyed Monday's show, Tuesday's show. Hope you've subscribed to the feed by now. Hopefully that's, hopefully there's more subscriptions to come. But if you're watching, if you press the and then the bell, and then if you go on podcasts and you hit the follow or the sub or the comment or the 5 stars, all these things help. So we appreciate you. Give us a thumbs up in the chat. Give us a thumbs up in the chat if you're watching. Yeah, give us a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah. And on Wednesdays, Frank, we love to shoot around these parts, right? Everyone loves it.
Absolutely.
And it's been a while since we've shot. It's been a while. It's been over 3 months since we shot. And so I presume there's a lot of questions. Let's get to some of them now. And then we'll get to the rest later in the program, okay, to keep you on your toes. How does that sound, Frank?
I'm alpha.
Yeah, you know yourself, Frank and Rampage, you're alpha. We're going to get Mr. Rampage on the program. Saturday, by the way, PFL Battle of the Giants on DAZN pay-per-view. Buy the pay-per-view. You get us, alternate commentary, the very first Helwani Vision broadcast, myself, Chael P., Tyron Woodley, Megan Anderson, Tim Welch, Jake Paul, all going to join us. Manning cast style, box feed. And you can watch, it's not like a watch party where you're just watching me. You can actually watch the pay-per-view with our team, our commentary, live from this studio with this amazing new camera. Life is good. There it is. Helwani Vision, Saturday, beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. Pacific, only on DAZN pay-per-view. First question, Dominic. I'm just going to go in order here, and I will be honest with all of you. I have not read any of these. Hello, Ariel and crew. Oh, look at that. New graphic. Yeah. Who did that? Shout out to GC. GC, you did that.
It's tough.
Yeah, made it, man. Lost the last one in the move, so we had to get a new one.
Wait, there was no branding on that one.
Yeah, lost the last one in the move, though.
Okay, fine.
The actual file, I can't find it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
As if like, the branding is what would cause.
Got
it
my
to
whole
be
computer
lost.
on a hard drive. Yeah, can't find the old counter. It's gone.
Well, you know what? Like this one better.
That's all I need to hear, man.
Like this one better. Thank you very much. Hello, Ariel and crew. Congratulations on the new channel and partnership. Wishing you all great success, and we'll be watching every day. Thank you. I have a two-part question for you. First, now that the Ariel Helwani Show is 3 days a week, along with the two others, do you think you would consider covering the Contender Series results when that is going on and discussing potential future stars from each new week now that it has produced top UFC fighters and former champs? Similar to that, would you guys consider a potential short segment in one of the shows where you talk about a prospect to be on the lookout from one of the top regional promotions? I don't like having like branded segments like that because I just feel like it boxes you in. If there's something we're talking about, we're trying to cover as much as we can. Contender Series, I'm pretty sure, is done, right? It goes in seasons and waves, so I'm pretty sure it's done.
It is currently on right now. It is.
No. I know it's. I think Tuesdays was the last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost.
I know what happened on Tuesday, but
No. I think Tuesday was the last one for this particular run. So yeah, when there's things to talk about, we try to talk. There was once a guy who was the 2-weight world champion from Cage Warriors who was on our show before his UFC debut. So we've had people on from all those organizations, and totally not against it. We're trying to do as good of a job as possible and cover as much as possible. Of course, moderator Lewis, emeritus. Wouldn't be the same without him. Ariel, boys in the back, love that name, and Pizzi. Pizzi here, by the way.
Sorry, yes, I am.
Oh, hey, Pizzi. How are you? You're just saying, I
going?
like this look. This is a nice look. This is Casual Wednesdays.
I wanted to, have a departure from the black t-shirt today.
No, this is a complete departure. It looks like
I change my clothes every day. I just want that underlined for the show.
It looks like you're a tourist in Ireland who's going to check out the local pubs. Do Irish people wear Guinness merch?
Oh, yeah. I'm Irish. I'm wearing it.
That's true. Okay, thanks for that. Moderator Lewis, the uncrowned era is here, and it's vibrant and radiating like the window over Helwani's shoulder. And dare I say, that window has never looked better. Love the studio, love the lower thirds and the color palette. It's all giving damn Daniel. 84 days. Wow, I didn't realize it was that long since you last sat in a studio and did what you did best, or do best, excuse me. Now we're here. Can you and the boys reflect on how it felt to make the leap from where you were and onto this journey to build Uncrowned and the AH show? Much love, Lewis. You can always count on Lewis to dig deep and to get us into our feelings. This is a communal question. I would say for me, this journey mentally for me started last summer, because when you're thinking about new deals, when you're thinking about new opportunities, it kind of starts a year out, at least mentally. You can't do everything. You can't put it into action. You can't sign deals and things of that nature, but you can start thinking and planning and strategizing. And it really started with me. And as I've said before, my agent Jerry, but I was always keeping the guys as much as possible abreast. We've already addressed, the doubters and all that stuff. It's not a big deal. And then, you get to like 6 months out, and then you start thinking a little bit more. And I will be honest, in my mind, the hope was, all right, I know I'm going to the Olympics. I know that is coming. I think I was leaving July 22nd, 23rd, something like that. I would love to have everything wrapped up, an announcement, a big to-do. I could go, clear head, go on vacation afterwards, come back ready to go. Didn't quite work out that way, especially when you're talking about something as complex as this. So we had to kind of be a little bit more patient. And so when I was in the studio on that last show and said, I don't know if I'll be back here or somewhere else, I truly didn't know. Things were leaning in this direction, but I didn't know at that point. And then like a few days into Paris, it became very clear, but I only signed my contract August 23rd to give you a sense of, you know, how long it takes to button all these things up. And so that was a month later. And then, you know, once that was signed, and before that we were talking and planning because we had to hit the ground running, and I had already told everyone of my decision. And like I said, it came down to 5 entities, and, you know, 2 of those included Vox and Spotify, and 2 others in addition to this one, and just felt like this was the right deal. And there was so much. And I was, you know, the guys did an amazing job when I was away, either A, at the Olympics or on vacation, and I joined as much as possible, and I hope that I was present as much as possible. But then when I got back, everything really started to ramp up. And, you know, from late August up until Monday, you know, there was so much planning, because we're not just launching a new YouTube channel, but we're also building a studio, and we're building graphics for all these new shows, and we're planning things out, and we're hiring new people. And in addition to all of that, there's a whole website. Like, that's one of these is big enough. And so we're doing this and this at the same time. And I loved every second of it. And I was telling people that I was enjoying the preparation and the planning and the strategizing chapter. But by the end, I was longing for this chapter. This is what I like doing best. Sitting here, interviewing people, talking about fight sports and all that stuff. And so it was an incredible experience. We're still kind of living it. As I said, we're still tweaking. We're still doing things and meeting and staying very late. And everyone was here every single day last week, including Saturday and Sunday. And they'll be back tomorrow. And then there's, you know, the crack on Friday, and then Helwani Vision, and then we've got the watch party. Like, it's a lot, and it's a change. But I think I speak for everyone. Maybe not Frank. You know, we're all having a great time.
I'm having a great time, man. I wouldn't trade anything in the world for those.
I'm kidding, obviously. I know you're having a great time, and you're crushing it. And let me just say something about Frank, if I may.
Please.
There was a period there where we didn't have Andy. And Andy, to me, is kind of like the captain of the ship when it comes to production and technical stuff. She knows about it as well as anyone. And she was so crucial to the operation. But there was a period where we had to get her over, and Frank was here before her. And Frank, really, I mean, you took the baton to the point where I was enjoying people asking you questions about production and video and stuff like that you know nothing about, but you faked it until you made it.
That's right.
It was very impressive.
You really think I was faking it, huh? I was.
You don't
I
know
was.
shit,
Absolutely.
Frank.
They're asking, so Frank, like when you guys use the bit rates on the thing, and Frank's like, yeah, you know, you get the 4.5 PC and the 6. Yeah. And that was really in play when we were preparing for the Vegas show, because that was before Andy joined and before Jordan joined as well, and not everything was in place. So it was really impressive to see everyone step up, and again, we're still building it, but man, there's so much pride when you're kind of building your own thing with a great partner, as opposed to just kind of sitting back and taking what is given to you as an employee, if you will. And so like I'm waking up, I just can't wait to get here. And I'm constantly thinking about things. And, you know, I hope that I'm able to balance it all. And people still keep asking me if I'm going to burn out, and, you know, the guests and all that stuff. And we'll get to a groove. It's going to be just fine. That's the least of my worries. I believe in this so much. I believe in what we're doing. I believe in the content. I believe in the vision. I believe in the website. I believe in our partnership. I believe in Yahoo. Shout out to my guy, Jim Lanzone, CEO of the company, who gave me this yesterday. One more time, Frank. I got my own sounds now.
Wow. You're taking that away from me.
And I just believe in all of it. I believe in all of it. I believe in Pizzi. I believe in the crack. I believe in Shaheen. I believe in every single person that we've hired, and I think we've built the dream team here. So I'm just loving it, and This is what I constantly tell myself when it gets a little frustrating, when you want this done ASAP, when you are mad about this or frustrated about this or anxious about this, there's going to be a time, God willing, when we're all 100, like my wife's Nana, who just turned 100 on Monday. And we are going to dream of this anxiety in our lives. We're going to dream of late nights and meetings and planning and Zooms and all this stuff. We are going to long for it and think back and look back on it with great nostalgia and pride and joy. We are going to dream of haters like Bilal and Ali tweeting about me and making all kinds of ridiculous comments about me. I'm going to miss that. I will think back and say that was a fun time. I was alive. Do you know what I mean? And so I try to have that perspective. I try to enjoy it all. And I can't wait for 6 months from now when we're even better than today. Because I feel like after every show, we get a little bit better and a little bit better. Is there anything else that anyone wants to add?
I think you nailed it all.
All right. Skinny, hey guys, this is not a dig at all, but don't you think MMA media in general should do a better job at highlighting up-and-coming fighters rather than calling cards with entry-level fighters weak? What was that? Oh, did you guys write to me? You know, I have a weird thing. Oh yeah. Oh, that's at 117. Damn, I don't get the notifications anymore. All right. Thank you for telling me, Eric. I didn't see that. Okay, we'll put a pin in the questions for now. I appreciate that. I don't see, or maybe I was just waxing poetic too much. Enough about me. Enough about my craziness. Enough about my emotions and my feelings. Let's get to a guest that I'm so excited to talk to. He's one of my favorite people in the world of the sweet science. And on Saturday, he returned to action and looked great, scoring a 7th round knockout. He's back. He's looking good, he's fit, and he potentially has a massive fight on the horizon. I'm talking about Chris Eubank Jr., who is kind enough to join us. There he is. Hello, Chris. How are you? Sorry for keeping you waiting. You're early, my friend. Last time, we had to search high and wide for you. This time, you made up for it by coming 10 minutes early. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wasn't late again. Chilling, I'm happy. I'm relaxing in Dubai again. Last interview that we did, I was in Dubai as well, and yeah, man, just recovering, trying to heal up. You know, I got a little cut top of my eyebrow, unfortunately, from the fight, from a headbutt. So gotta stay out of sparring for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll be back soon, and yeah, we've got a big one coming up.
Okay, well, I thought you looked great out there on Saturday. Congratulations on the win. It was great to see you back in action. Are you happy with how you looked? Obviously, you're out for a year. There was a lot of interest in how you would look. You have been linked to some big fights. This felt like a fight to get you back on track, get your feet wet again. Were you happy with how you looked?
Yeah. You know, I dominated every round. I knocked the guy down 4 times. I got cut, so I'm not. You know, I'm pissed off about that. But aside from that, it was a good performance. You know, I wanted to see how it felt coming off of a camp with Jonathan Banks, going through the weight cut again, just testing things out, man. You know, I feel like I could have taken the guy in the first round after that first knockdown, but I let him off the hook because I wanted to stay in that ring, man. I wanted to enjoy myself. That's my life. That's what I do. I didn't want it to be over so quick. That cost me a cut, but we learned a lot about, ourselves in that fight. And yeah, I think everything went to plan aside from the cut. And, within the next couple months, I'll be back in the ring.
How many stitches, by the way?
6, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, that is unfortunate. But like I said, you look great. And there was some concern when that video came out of you cutting weight, which I know is common. Was this a tougher weight cut, or is that usually how the struggle goes for the last few pounds?
Listen, as you get older, everything gets that little bit tougher, but listen, I'm a middleweight. Everyone has to go through hell to make weight. I'm no different. It's not fun. It's not nice. It's not comfortable. It's brutal, but it's part of being a fighter unless you're a heavyweight. So, it's something we all just have to deal with and go through.
felt like you were really enjoying yourself out there. Felt like you were really enjoying Riyadh, the experience. You got into the spirit. You were wearing the traditional garb. It seemed like you were really having a great time. You even brought out the sword on multiple occasions. Can you tell me why you were having so much fun and what was going on as you're walking around? What's going on in your mind as you're walking around with that somewhat scary sword? It was quite long. I was afraid that someone might get hurt. It looked real as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the sword is it's a symbol. It's a symbol of the royal family, of royalty in Saudi, but it's also a symbol of war. And that was the mindset I had going into this fight. I wanted to get into a real fight. I knew this guy was tough. I knew he wasn't going to go down and quit. So I knew I was in there for a fight. If I wasn't on my P's and Q's, or I didn't have my stamina right, if my reflexes weren't right, then it was going to be a tough fight. But everything was where it was supposed to be. And yeah, I'm just respecting the culture and the people, and I love the thobe that I was wearing. I even did some pad work in it on the public workout, which was fun. It was kind of hard to move around, but it was it was fun. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. So yeah, I had a great time. It's at my age, it's about enjoying yourself. I don't have to be too serious all the time, especially in fights like that. Where the guy, I'm kind of neutral. The guy I don't know the guy. He hasn't disrespected me in any way. So I don't really have to be too serious. I can be light during fight week. There is no real beef. It's just, we're being professional, and we're both just going in there to put on a show and to win and to be competitive. That's all it was about for this fight. Will I be as lighthearted in my next fight against someone like a Conor Benn? Absolutely not. But for this fight, yeah, it was all about having fun and enjoying myself.
Taking a step back, you made news when you announced the partnership with Boxer and Ben Shalom. Ultimately, why did you decide to go that route? Why did you link up with him?
I've made that pretty public already in my press conference a few weeks back. You can.
Oh, I didn't see that. I wasn't aware of. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Everyone saw it. Come on, it was quite the day. Fair enough. You want to leave it at that?
I said what I said. It's it can't be taken back.
Do you regret saying what you said?
A lot of people, have issues with managers, promoters, teammates, people that are supposed to be on their side, but they're not. So I was kind of just speaking on behalf of all the people that have been, fucked over in their careers. And, to be honest, I think every single fighter on planet Earth has dealt with some type of bullshit, during their career. No one's gone through their entire career not having to deal with something. So, it is what it is. At the end of the day, fighters should come first. That is that should go without saying. But the insane thing is that it's actually not the case. So many times the fighters don't come first or second or third. There are people that, are put in front of the fighters. And that's why I'm so happy to be involved with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, because he is probably the only promoter in history that puts the fighters first every single time. Before him, before the promoters, before anybody. All right, I'm going to give this fighter what he deserves to go out there and risk his life. Even if, maybe I lose money on the show, fighters come first. And that is amazing. That is, it's unheard of. So it's a great time to be a fighter. If you can get into that mix, if you can get onto that scene, it's an amazing journey. It's an amazing path. And I'm there. My journey began on the weekend. Now moving forward, we can make massive fights with that contingency in Saudi Arabia backing us. And, I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to everything that's coming.
And so obviously before the fight, the face-off, if you will, with Conor made headlines, and then immediately after the fight, I mean, he walked into the ring with ease. That made headlines, and Turki Al-Sheikh said that he would like to make that fight, and it seems like everyone, wants to make that fight. Let me ask you this. It's a several-parter, but I'll start with this one. Did you know that he was going to be there before the fight? Did you know that you were going to run into him? And if not, were you annoyed that all that popped off before, as you're cutting weight before a big return fight for you?
For sure, I was annoyed. The last thing I want to do is have some idiot in front of me pushing me while I'm trying to cut weight. No fluids, no food, barely any sleep. And then I've got some idiot pushing me, talking shit in front of me, in front of all these cameras. I had no idea that it was going to happen, but it did. And, it's one of those things. It shows you who Conor Benn really is. That he would pick that day of all days to come and try and stand in front of me. There's been plenty of other occasions where if he was really about that life, he could have been in front of me. We were both at the fight, the AJ Dubois fight. He knew I was there. He chose to stay away from me. But all of a sudden on weight cutting day, he's front and center. Where are the cameras? Where's Chris? And then again in the ring after the fight, when I've just done 7 rounds, I've got a cut. He's Mr. Big and Brave with all the security around. Would it be the case if, he see me just walking down the street and he hasn't got his people around him, there's no security, is he going to come up to me and say something then? I doubt it. I really do. But, the exciting thing is we have an opportunity to see how he really is in the build-up to the fight. Whenever it does get made, he's going to be in positions where, he's going to have to show who he really is. So we'll see.
So when you say that you have an opportunity and it sounds like everything's lean, can you tell us definitively, is this next for you? Is there an agreement in place, a verbal agreement? What is, in fact, in place as far as you and Conor Benn finally happening?
I mean, there's no contract's been signed. The agreements have been verbal in terms of Turki saying to me that this is what I want. He came into my changing room before the fight and said, "This is all I care about, you and Ben. This is what we want." So that agreement is verbal. Me and Conor both said we want to fight. So now it just comes down to him getting his license back, because obviously he's had a ban for trying to cheat in our last fight, in our first scheduled fight a couple of years ago, when he got caught with performance-enhancing drugs in the system twice. So, everyone's saying he's expected to get his license back within the next couple of months or couple of weeks or whenever it's going to be. And then after that, the fight gets made.
Does that fight have to be in the UK, in your opinion, or are you past that? Would you be at peace if it's in, let's say, Riyadh? Are you okay with it being somewhere outside of the UK? And I'm assuming if it's not in the UK, it's going to be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I
mean, obviously, it's an all British affair. The history is British boxing. Behind the history, behind our fathers, behind us, it would make the most sense for it to be in Britain. We fill out a football stadium. But again, if the people that are putting on the show want it in a different location, then it is what it is. I can say where I want it to be, but at the end of the day, it's the people that are putting up the money, they get to choose. And, to be completely honest, it doesn't really matter where it is. For the fans, yes, it would be great to have it in the UK. But for me personally, I'm going to tear that boy apart, whether it's in Saudi, whether it's in the UK, or whether it's in a parking lot somewhere. It doesn't matter.
The next big Saudi show is December 21st. Obviously, it's not happening then. And then there's one in February that Turki has talked about, tentatively February 22nd. Could it happen on that card in February in Riyadh? Is that what is being discussed?
It could. Absolutely, it could.
Is that the target at this point?
Yes, I would definitely say that that is a target date.
Okay. And obviously that is something that you're amenable to, right? You're open with that timeline because that's in 4 months from now.
Yeah, the cut will be healed up in within the next month. So after that, yeah, I'm good to go.
And so what weight do you think this would be at? Because obviously 157 seems like a far cry from where you were at on Saturday. That was the agreed upon weight 2 years ago, right? 168 seems like a weight that you're most comfortable at. He's probably a natural 147 pounder, if we're being fair, 154. Where do you think this actually falls? Do you know where it falls if you guys fight?
It falls at the middleweight division of 160. Yes, the first fight was made at 157, a weight which I did cut down to just to show everybody that I could do it. But now, this kid has no privileges. He has no leeway. He has no power. He cannot call the shots on weights. He cannot call the shots on rehydration clauses and anything. He has no say in anything. He takes what he gets now. That's what happens when you cheat and get caught. You don't then come back into the game demanding things. You take what you're given. And what he's getting is 160 middleweight.
Do you think he'll agree to that?
He has no choice.
Do you have any sense of whether or not he has agreed to that verbally?
Yes. He said it many times, actually. I'll fight him at 160.
Okay. And to the best of my knowledge, the British Boxing Board of Control is the one overseeing and sanctioning these fights in Riyadh. Do you think that they will try to stop this fight from happening?
I don't think so. I think he's served his time, in terms of, the time he's been out of the ring, the time he hasn't been able to box in the UK. To be honest, if I'm actually being truthful, I think anyone that gets caught with drugs in this system should have a lifetime ban. But that's just not how boxing works. So, he's been out of the boxing scene in the UK for a couple of years now. The fight needs to happen. So yeah, I don't think they're going to try and block it.
So you think it should be strike one and you're out, essentially? No, 2-year ban for the first offense, none of that. Like, you think if you get caught knowingly, unknowingly, you're done?
Absolutely.
Does it give you any pause then, knowing that like you're going to go in there with someone who has this infraction on his record?
No, because everybody has infractions on their record. Look at all these fighters that are getting popped, and then they're back in the ring in 6 months' time or a year's time. Canelo, Tyson Fury. Just the list it's disgustingly long. That's just how boxing is. The guys at the elite level, they're still getting caught, and they're still back in the ring. It's a sad state of affairs, but that's just what it is. And it's why I guess that so many people still do cheat, because they know, all right, I'm going to get a slap on the wrist, I'm going to get a fine, I'm going to get a ban for a year or two if I get caught, which I might not. So yeah, it's worth the risk. The only way that it's ever going to stop is if guys start getting banned for serious amounts of time, But that, guys are not, these organizations are not doing that because they need fighters to fight. That's the only way that everyone can make money. So, for fighters like me, who continue to stay clean, who continue not to cut corners, who continue to, be model fighters, model citizens in the sport of boxing, it's just, it really does show you the strength of character and who we are, because so many of these guys, they buckle. So many of these guys end up, let me just take this. Let me just try and see if I can get away with this. No one's going to find out. This doctor's saying it'll be out of my system in this long, and I'm going to feel great and I'm going to win and I'm going to make money. And you know what? Let's just do it. So many of these guys are doing it. So for the guys that don't do it, like me, we should be respected. We should be admired. Yeah, it's real out there, man.
2 years later, what do you believe in your heart of hearts? Did he knowingly take something or unknowingly? What do you think?
I mean, the evidence is you can't argue against it. He got caught twice. He failed 2 drugs tests. There's no argument. He was undeniably cheating. And you know what? Even the guys who say, I didn't know, I made a mistake, I didn't realize that this, whatever I ate or took or had in my system, I didn't realize that it was in the food or in the nasal spray, or this guy gave it to me. Even those guys who come out with that story, you still cheated. Because as a professional, it's your job to know absolutely everything that's going into your system at all times. That's what you have to do at the elite level in the sport. You have to be responsible as a man and as a fighter to know, okay, this may have something in it. So let me make sure it's legit. Let me make sure it's okay to take before I take it. If you're not willing to do that with all the money that people are making out here, then even if you didn't knowingly cheat, you did cheat because it's in your system. It doesn't matter how it got in there. It doesn't matter if you were asleep and someone came and jabbed you in the ass with a syringe. It's your job to protect yourself at all times. And if you don't do that, you're a cheat, you're a scumbag, and you don't deserve to be in the ring. Unfortunately, like I said, guys get away with it. Guys get a slap on the wrist and they're back in the ring. It is what it is. Conor Benn's going to pay for cheating or trying to cheat. I'm going to make him pay dearly for that.
There's no part of you
within the next.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm just wondering, there's no part of you that says, no, I'm not going to give you the honor of fighting me. You cheated, in my opinion, and I only want to fight clean fighters. Why give him that if you feel like he should be banned for life?
I'm a prize fighter. I need to get paid. I need to win money. I need to win titles. I need to win fans. I need to fight, And there's so many guys cheating out there. If you say I'm not going to fight cheaters, you ain't going to fight anybody. At the end of the day, who can you fight? It's sad to say, but it is what it is, man. I got to get paid. I got to do what I do. And if that means fighting a guy who's coming off of a ban, that's what it means. He will be tested like no other for the lead up to our fight. That we will make sure of, and that's the best we can do.
Just curious, he was on my show in March before his Vegas fight. He was extremely emotional, talking about considering taking his life in the midst of all this. He has said this to other people. Have you ever seen those clips? And when you see those clips, do you feel any kind of remorse for him?
Do I feel remorse for the guy who was taking performance-enhancing drugs to try and beat me in a fight? What type of insane question is that, Ariel?
It's not so much. I guess it would go down the path of perhaps if you did believe that he unknowingly took something, that it was a tainted supplement or something, or tainted eggs or whatever it is. Who knows how these things get in people's system? And you see a guy crying who's a father and says he was this close to taking his own life. I don't know. You've just answered the question in so many ways, but I was just, and I'm not judging you if you say, to hell with him, he tried to hurt me, I couldn't care less. I was just curious, when you see that, what your reaction is. There are some people who say, crocodile tears, I don't believe it, it's all to get sympathy, it's all a show, to hell with him. And I wouldn't blame you, to be honest, if you felt that way. I was just curious more what your reaction was.
The guy is an exceptional actor.
Fair enough.
I mean, an Academy Award is what's needed for that guy.
Okay. Fair enough. Could I ask, when you signed with Boxer, there was some talk of you versus Canelo. Did any of that get close? Did any of that seem to be a reality? And perhaps is it a reality if all goes well in February and, maybe Cinco de Mayo or September when he traditionally fights?
We were in talks. The fight was getting made, but we couldn't agree on the business side of things. And at the end of the day, I decided that, you know what? The numbers aren't adding up. And that combined with the fact that I've been out of the ring for a year, this is not the right time. I don't need to rush into a fight with Canelo. I'm not starving to get paid. I'm not going in there to just survive so I can make a couple mil. I want to win. And when I do win, I want to make the absolute most amount of money I can. So, beat Conor Benn, beat Lara, get a world title, get on a hot streak, and then get in the ring with Canelo. That is the goal. That's the plan. I'm betting on myself. I could have taken 5 mil or whatever it was they were saying to fight him now, but I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on myself to be in a better position next year to where they can't offer me those numbers when he's making 40 mil plus or whatever he's making. I'm betting on myself. You guys know I'm a little bit of a gambler. I like to play poker.
I've seen you.
And I have extreme confidence in my ability. So why am I going to shortchange myself? Why am I going to rush into something after having a year off? Doesn't make sense.
I respect it, and it's fair. I'm wondering, in those plans, does Hamza Shiraz fit in any kind of way in there? He's an up-and-comer. He has talked about wanting to fight you. There's been talk of offers and whatnot. Are you at all interested in fighting him at some point?
At some point, maybe, but within the next year or two, the guy's not a name. He's been visible on the scene for what, a year? I don't know. He can walk into boxing gyms and people won't know who he is. Why would I fight somebody like that right now? Let him build himself. Let him get legitimately built, so that when the fight does happen, it actually makes sense and it's actually a spectacle. It's not just some up-and-coming kid with a big mouth and the backing of the Saudi contingency, trying to make a name off of me.
Could I ask, and just a couple more, and then we'll let you go. And thank you so much. I always love talking to you because you're very thoughtful, honest, and forthright. So I appreciate it very much. I did notice just a couple of days ago, you tweeted, and I responded to you. I don't know if you saw. You tweeted a video of your father speaking very eloquently, and that is the best way to describe any time your father speaks, because he's one of the most. He's just one of the most unique characters that I've ever come across in my life, and I don't know if I've ever met anyone who speaks quite like him, as well as him. And that gave me perhaps hope that perhaps if you do fight Conor Benn, that he will be involved, and that there's there's a good standing between you guys. Could you give us any type of update on where you are at with your father, and if you would like for him to be involved because of the history with your father and, of course, Conor's father?
I would love for him to be involved. The fact that I even have to say that is insane. How is that even a thing? That his son is going to fight the son of his arch nemesis all those years ago when he was a world champion. How is it a thing that he may not be there? But it's a thing. We don't talk. He has shown no interest in my career for a long period of time now. He's shown no interest in me in a long period of time. He's gone through a lot over the last few years, and he's still dealing with his demons. And he thinks certain things aren't right and should be a certain way, and they're not, and he's not happy with it. And this is how he's dealing with it, by not being in my life. As somebody who's lost a son, I think that that's a pretty insane thing to be doing, an insane way to be acting, to kind of not be speaking to your remaining kids. But he's his own man. He's dealing with his situation how he thinks he should, and all I can do is sit and wait and hope that he comes around at some point. But I can't tell you if that will happen anytime soon.
Have you tried to reach out to him recently to extend any kind of olive branch?
Yeah, I message him every once in a while. Don't really hear much back.
He doesn't reply.
Sometimes he'll be a one-word answer, or an Instagram post, but there's no real conversation there. It's sad, but I'm my own man, and I've got massive things, on my plate, in my path that I have to complete, that I have to succeed in. So I can't let anything like that affect me spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I have to be strong. I have to be focused. Once my career is done, then I can try and, spend time worrying about other people's feelings. But for right now, it's all systems go, man. I gotta be me.
Have you heard from him since the win on Saturday?
No, I have not.
Okay. I think I speak for everyone, and I appreciate you even speaking on this. It would make everyone so happy.
You know what? But for a long time, I kind of tried to act like it was cool, and people would ask me, how's your dad? Like, yeah, we're good. But I got sick of that shit, man. It's bullshit. We're not cool. We're not okay. And people need to know. The people that are around him need to hear this and speak to him and let him understand that what he's doing is not okay. And we need to reunite as a team, as a family. That's all I have to say on it.
And can I ask, when was the last time you were in fact cool? Like, when would you say, how long has it been?
Probably a couple of years, man.
Okay.
Maybe more.
Wow. And you would love for this to be changed. You want this.
My dad, of course. But mental health is a real thing. And PTSD is a real thing. He's dealing with whatever he's dealing with. He won't tell me the things he's dealing with, but he's dealing with them. And so I can't really judge him. I just have to let him do his thing.
Well, I think we wish for that. All of us do. Appreciate you talking about that, truthfully, because I know it's not an easy thing. And one might say it's none of our business, but he is such a larger-than-life figure. And now with this fight coming up, most likely, it's the story of your father and Conor's father is going to be told again and again. It's going to be a part of the promotion, right? It's why you guys are fighting in many respects. And so we wish for that for you. Thank you so much for coming on, Chris. Really do appreciate it. I know you don't do a ton of these, so really do appreciate the time and the candor. I hope you heal up soon, and I hope that 2025 is even greater than 24, and hopefully we get a chance to talk if the fight, gets materialized. Can't wait for it. In fact, there's a guy on our team in the back, NewYorkRic. He says of all the fights and all the combat sports, he's been saying this for 2 years, Chris, this is his most anticipated fight, and people have been mocking him for saying this, but he is the one on the front lines banging the drum. Is that not right, NewYorkRic? You want to tell Chris, is that not right? You are the one saying this is your most anticipated fight in all forms of combat sports, right?
Yeah, I think the only person who might want it more than Chris and Conor is me. I'm the one.
There you go. There you go, Chris. He's the one. He's the guy. Perhaps he could be in your corner as your hype man as you walk out in February.
Maybe. Listen, this is a fight, this is a fight that has a history and a story behind it that has never happened in the entire history of boxing. So, regardless of what you think about weights and levels and age and all of that, this is a unique, special event that will never happen again and has never happened. So just from that alone, it's an exciting event. It's an exciting opportunity, and it's real. You know, it's so real. And you know, this is not an act either. You know, this is not some misfits, Logan Paul, KSI, where we're gonna fight, but we're actually boys and we're gonna sell drinks afterwards and all that shit. This is genuine. This is genuine beef. This is just genuine emotion. This is genuine fighting for our father's legacies. So just talking about it gets me excited, man. It really does.
You're the man, Chris. Thank you so much. All the best to you and appreciate the time.
Okay, good man. Speak soon.
There he is, the great Chris Eubank Jr. And what a line at the end there, right? We're fighting for our father's legacies. And you hear that after how open he was about the state of his relationship with his father. It really does cut deep. And it makes you wonder, as he is reopening these wounds, and I've never really quite heard him speak that candidly about the state of their relationship, at least as of late. Think about how many times he's going to be asked and reminded of his father in the build-up to this fight. If it does happen in February, it's the story, it's the thread, it's the seed, right?
I thought what he said there was quite fascinating, though, that he's his own man, he has his own responsibilities, and he seems to be taking it with the kind of stance, the position of like, this train's going. I've got the hugest opportunities of my life ahead of me. If my dad is involved, he would love that. And it sounded like he was very interested in reconciliation. The words were, we need to reunite as a team, as a family. It doesn't get clearer than that, right? He wants the father back in his life, but he's also willing to trudge forward and chase these big opportunities, whether, senior is along for the ride or not. And so it's unfortunate, but he seems extremely focused on his future and manifesting what he's been after.
Yo, you're a father of three. I'm a father of three. When you hear...
It breaks my heart.
Yeah, when you hear a son talk about their dad, like, you never want to be in that position, right? Where your son is saying, I want you back in my life. Because that means things have gone horribly wrong, right? It's supposed to be unconditional. And who knows... And senior has his reasons and junior has his reasons, but you see him tweeting it out.
Yeah.
He tweeted the video, and it's like, that's junior saying to senior, I'm thinking of you, I love you, and whatever happened. And then when you remember, and some of the MMA fans might not know this, his son, as he said, passed away. Chris's brother. And he's talked about taking care of his son, which is his nephew, Chris Jr.'s nephew. Like, there's a lot there. And so you can understand that there would be a lot there. What a scene it would be. Could you imagine? I have chills if senior is walking out junior. Doesn't even have to corner him, or at least if Turkey can invite him and be there. And who knows? There's things that are deeper than plane tickets and money and all that stuff. But man, I think everyone would love it.
At this point, I'd even take if there was a kind word. Like, even if he's not, let's say he's not ready to jump both feet in and stay, he wants to stay at arm's length from it, even if it's just a message of support to show that he's in Chris's, his son's corner. Like, I need it. Like, I'm a father of a son, a young son. My dad is watching this right now. He watches it every day. He sends me text messages. Shout out to my dad. But like, I couldn't imagine the relationship getting to that point, and my heart breaks for them.
Shout out to the chat. Thumbs up to the chat. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Poll right now, 73% of our fans think that Chris Eubank Jr. beats Conor Benn. Obviously, a big size difference. He says it's 160. I'm not moving down to 157. No catch weights. You're coming up to fight me.
100% of them think that this is the biggest fight in combat sports right now. So shout out to them. They're on the money with this.
And by the way, shout out to Mr. Jackman, who is a very loyal watcher. And I do believe he has new pound for pound rankings as far as his favorites on this program are concerned. Is it true that the patron saint is now #1 over Mysterious Frank? That's what I'm hearing.
He made an impression. PT made an impression on my dad for this one. We got a text this morning just glowing about Pete's performance.
How long have they interacted, 1-to-1?
That's not important, Frank. That's not important.
It's very important.
That's not what was asked. That's not what was asked. Who was your favorite? They said.
You can sneak your little sneakiness in there, and I don't want it. I'm not here for it.
Did he say favorite? Or did he just say, I kind of like this Peter guy?
Potato. Look, this is what we'll do. tomorrow or after the show, I guarantee I'll get a pound for pound ranking. I need everybody in order so we can see.
I bet you get it in the next 30 to 45 minutes.
No, I'm happy with what I heard this morning. I don't need an update. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jackman. You are my favorite too. In the list of favorite fathers, I see him neck and neck with Andy Aspinall now, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's big praise.
Your father's a legend, PT. Could you do me a favor, PT? Give the old microphone a tap there for me. I'm not sure if that was you just hitting the microphone. What do you think,
Do we
Frank?
have an issue here?
Well, considering that I asked him to mute earlier and he's like, I got you, and then he wasn't muted, who knows anymore.
Okay, all right. Well, we're working through the kinks. We're working through the kinks here. We're working through the kinks. It's all good. By the way,
We're back.
oh, that's a big difference.
I don't know what's happening
What'd
with
you
this.
do?
I'd like
What'd
to
you
say,
change?
if I was using my own computer, this would be fine. You know, I got this new computer. It's very fancy.
Oh, I'm
don't
sorry
really
that
know
your
what's happening.
employer has decided to give you equipment to use.
Is it fancy?
Listen,
What year is it?
Brand new, mate.
Brand new 2024?
PT,
Yeah.
you
don't
haven't been
think
using
so.
your mic this entire
Yeah, no,
time.
clearly, right? I mean, how?
I was like,
Yeah, it's amazing. PT, by the way, your old man.
This wasn't mentioned during the onboarding situation. You know what I mean?
Your old man, PT, is a longtime fight fan. Don't you think if you told him Ben and Eubank were fighting, do you think he would say, sign me up? He would say, let's go to the pub and watch this, right?
Oh, absolutely. It'll be definitely a trip to the pub for Liam O'Carroll, no doubt about it. And to be honest, like a lot of the guys who, like, you know, you're connecting this to that magic era. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a documentary out on Prime at the moment called The Four Kings. It's about that era of British boxing. Eubank, Ben, Lennox Lewis, and Frank Bruno. It's really, really good. And it's stirring up all this nostalgia. And really those, you know, you want to see Chris Sr. and Nigel there when this goes down. You want to be able to compare the feelings, compare the rivalry. You want all of that stuff. So it would be an awful shame, but I think Chris Jr. is putting his best foot forward there in the interview with you. You know, he seems to be an open book. And as you said, him kind of referencing his dad's, you know, previous interviews or whatever it is, that is him offering the olive branch as far as I'm concerned.
PT, as we noted on the bottom there, has his first official show of the new era coming out on Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on this YouTube channel, podcast on the feed. It's The Crack, and I do believe, have you made your debut on uncrowned.com just yet? Is it up?
I have, yeah.
The Paul Hughes feature is up.
This. No. I did an article with John Wood. You text me this big long message, and now
Sure, no,
you've
but that was
forgotten all about it.
Uncrowned.com wasn't officially launched when you put out that article. Let's not get crazy here. That was pre-Utah. Uncrowned.com was born on Monday. When's the Paul Hughes feature coming out? I've heard so much about this. I've heard it's Pulitzer worthy.
That will be down to Sheen Al-Shadi and the amazing amount of editing he has to do. You know, I'm only getting back in the swing of things, and this was quite a considerable task. I talked to Paul's mother, talked to Dan Hardy, obviously, during the week, and I talked to Paul in Belfast. Paul Hughes' story, not a lot of people know the journey he's been on here, the setbacks he's had in his career. This is a guy that in 2020, we were talking about who is the best fighter from Ireland, Ian Garry or Paul Hughes. Ian Garry has obviously gone on and done amazing things in the UFC. He's knocking on the door of welterweight title contention. Paul, on the other hand, had setbacks trying to get out of the Cage Warriors promotion. He did everything that the guys before him had done. Conor McGregor, Carl Pendred, Neil Seery, all of these Cage Warriors champions, Ian Garry as well, obviously. And we thought it was all but done him going to the UFC. The UFC did reach out to him at some points, but he was injured. And if you know anything about Paul, you know that he had massive setbacks early on in his career. After one of the greatest Irish MMA debuts we've ever seen, he broke his left hand. He even booked a fight after that. He's like, I'm going to be back in 5 months, let's book a fight. He subsequently broke his right hand, and then he broke his right hand again, and then he broke his right hand again, to the point where he was told he would never fight again. And to rebuild his life the way he has, and to be in this spot where he was one of the biggest free agents, well, the biggest free agent Irish MMA has ever seen. You got to understand that Conor McGregor wasn't a free agent ever, of course, when I say that. But to get into that situation and to have people now saying when he's about to fight AJ McKee, this is too much too soon. That is absolutely not Paul's mentality. You know the guy, you've met him, Ariel. This is a guy that is sprinting towards his goals. He has already had so much time taken away from him, which is what the article is based on, and he is relentlessly pursuing what he's going after now.
I love that. Way to set it up. Can't wait to read it, and can't wait for that fight. Him versus AJ McKee is arguably the most interesting matchup on the card. It's fantastic and a step up and the fight that he has been longing for, right? The opportunity and the matchup and the test that he's been longing for. Big fight for McKee, who at 55 is trying to still, get his footing. The four main fights on that card are fantastic. And I'm not going to get into is it better than this card or better? Like, it's a solid 4-pack of fights. When you consider Francis and his story and his return to MMA and what happened in March and everything that's happened to him this year, and when you consider how good Renan Fajeda looked in February against Ryan Bader, when you consider Chris Cyborg, the legend that she is, the icon, the pioneer that she is, going up against Pacheco, who's the last person to beat Kayla Harrison, and how big of a deal that is, certainly for Brazilian MMA as well. You consider AJ McKee and his story and Paul Hughes and his story, and then, of course, Johnny Eblen, who we're talking to in a bit, who has become one of the best middleweights in the world, going up against Fabian Edwards, the brother of Leon Edwards, in the first fight for the family since Leon lost to Bilal, and it was all Bilal, and it was an impressive win, and it was an incredible win, and what a great winning streak he is on, and he should be praised and showered with love for that. That's a great story, and then obviously what happened to the two of them in their fight the first time over a year ago with the cut and the spitting and all that stuff and more. So I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait for Helwani Vision on Saturday on DAZN pay-per-view beginning at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and of course 9 p.m. over in the UK. In a matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by our next guest, who is featured all over this great set of ours. You can see him right over here. You can see him right over there. I think he might be somewhere else too. There's a couple of DCs over there. I mean, there's a whole host of figurines here, but I think that's it. He is, of course, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He is a man who I think so highly of because he's always kept it real. He's always obviously been so gracious with his time. He's always been so good to me. But as I said when he announced his retirement a little over a month ago, I said that I have infinite amount of respect for him because he never changed. He did it his way. He didn't care about what people said or what they may have not said or promoted, not promoted. He just went out there. He did his job, and he did it in many respects better than anyone else. Number one all-time, most consecutive UFC title defenses, tied with John Jones for most UFC title defenses overall. He had 9 UFC Fight Night awards, number one for post-fight bonuses in UFC flyweight history. Of course, former one championship flyweight champion. I refer to it as bantamweight because it's 135 over there, but technically it is flyweight. In one championship, and there was nothing left to prove. And now he's tackling a new challenge that is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's tackling a new challenge that is YouTubing and streaming and all that stuff and more. He's one of my favorite people that I've ever come across, not only in mixed martial arts, but in life. He's an inspiration. He's a tremendous father and husband, in addition to all those great things. And perhaps most importantly, he is the one and only Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. Look at that. Look at that. Crystal clear. Who did this? Once over? Who's responsible for this?
I am. I'm responsible. But I will give Wandover credit because he did teach me. He's very talented, and each time I see him do certain things, I'm always asking him questions because I think when you can set up your own studio, it's very empowering and it feels good.
Look at us. Look at us, DJ. Look at us.
Look at us.
By the way,
look at us.
Why do you always look so damn good on your stream there? Is it something like your skin is just so freaking smooth and shiny? What are you doing? What is the routine now these days? And the beard is always so on point.
I got to do a special stream, special shout out to Ame and Killer J, Jessica. That's my girl. She takes care of my skincare routine, and also my wife. She's always helping me with my skincare routine because I want to age gracefully. I want to look good when I'm like 65, 70 years old, just looking fresh, man.
You look fantastic. Dare I say you've never looked better than right now? Fair? Accurate?
I mean, if you want to say that, I mean, the beard's on point. I just had it done, so that's why it looks really good.
You look fantastic. Much respect. Retirement looks good on you. And speaking of that, and of course, shout out to you, all those great interviews that you're doing, exclusives, Tony Ferguson, you're getting all these big things, and we will get to all that in a moment. But of course, I haven't talked to you because we were on our little hiatus, and you've been so supportive during the hiatus, so thank you very much. You announced your retirement in early September at that event in Denver, and they did it the right way. It was beautiful the way they did it. You got the moment, you got the stage, you got the microphone, you got the spotlight that you deserved. I am curious about the road to that point because I do remember you being in studio and everyone's at, are you done? Are you done? Are you going to walk away? And it was almost a year between fights, right? And if not more. And you said, one day I learned from Eddie Alvarez, I'm going to drink coffee, I'm going to tell my wife I'm done, and that's that. So could you tell us about the embryonic stages of the decision? When did you in fact inform your wife or have that conversation, which then led to the announcement in September?
I can't remember when me and your wife talked about it, but it was kind of like, what Eddie said. It was, we talked, me and my wife talked about it, and I was like, I think I'm done. I just feel, after that fight with Adriano, the third one, I had my wife, had my kids. And I was like, okay, is this what my life is all? Is this what life is? Like, I'm relying on my body to make a living, essentially. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself a year. I'm gonna try to focus on jiu-jitsu, put some muscle on, get bigger for the division, because the division in jiu-jitsu is 154. I'm not cutting weight to 141, and I gotta weigh 138 and weigh the gi. But fast forward, me and my wife talked about it. She goes, yeah, I think it's good. And my wife texts me one day, and she goes, man, it's so enjoyable to have you around the house, to see the kids, to help me take them to school, help me shuffle them around, and I just really enjoy having you at home more. And I was like, oh, well, that's all you got to say. And then I remember having lunch with Matt, and me and Matt Hume were sitting there, and that's why I love Matt, because he's such a fucking G. We're sitting there, and I was like, Matt, I think I'm done. He goes, yeah, I think it's time to call it a career too. And he goes, you made out good, baby. You made out good. You made great money. You don't have any serious concussions. You're still healthy. You can still train if you want to. And that's always the goal. Like, you got out when you want to. And then, but I told him, I was like, I'm going to give myself a year just in case I miss it. Because I don't want to be one of those guys like, I'm done fighting. I'm not coming back. And next, hey, guys, I'm coming back to fight. I don't want to be one of those cases. And everybody has their own situation. I know Aldo came back. I know Donna Cerrone's talked about him coming back as well. He wants to get 50 fights in the UFC. But for me, I'm like, I'm done. I don't miss it. I enjoy jiu-jitsu. That's feeding my competitive edge. It's keeping me healthy. It's a breath of fresh air because my professor, Professor Jan, is very good about teaching me, and I'm trying to understand jiu-jitsu and the gi on a deeper level. And yeah, and I didn't want to do the announcement in one championship, but my wife and Chatri, they convinced me and showed me it's not just about you, but it's also closing that chapter with your fans and for myself. I didn't think I was gonna get through my wife. I think I was gonna get emotional, right? But when you're sitting there and the spotlight's on you, you see your wife, you see Matt, you see your kid, you see your family. It was just a bunch of emotions of so many years of training in the gym, in and out, all come to a conclusion of like, I'm never fighting mixed martial arts ever again. And it was a good time. I'm very grateful that one championship gave me the opportunity to do it on that amazing platform. It was a sold out crowd in Denver. So yeah, that's how it went down, man.
Initially, if it was up to you, how did you want to announce it?
Just disappear.
Just disappear.
Just
not even a post? Not even a video?
No, I mean, it was going to be a post like, all right, boys, we out. GG's on to the next. Just because, the biggest thing, I didn't want to take away from the athletes who were competing that night in Denver, right? I respect them so much that the night wasn't about me. The night was about them. John Haggerty taking on Super Lake, an amazing fight. And the whole card was just stacked. I didn't want to take away from their limelight. And, I've always been a guy who doesn't really search for attention of what I'm doing in my career, I guess. And I'm almost kind of shy. I don't know. But I just wanted to be like, hey, I'm done. It was been an amazing road in mixed martial arts. On to the next thing. But I'm very grateful that my wife and Chatri helped me and pushed me and encouraged me to do what I did in Denver.
By the way, how long did you have to sit on this? Like, how long in between the announcement and when you actually made up your mind?
I think it was a year. Literally a year. Like I knew after I fought Adriano the third time, I knew I was done. I was like, this is not boring, but I was like, okay, I just won again. What's next? And then there was time like when Aljo, he was a man. And I was like, God, he would be a great fight. I was like, at the time, like nobody could beat Aljo. Like he was, winning. And I was like, God, that fight intrigued me. I was like, man, it'll be nice to maybe fight him. Man, I grappled his ass. Whew. I'm glad I didn't fight him to get his black ass on my back. I tell you what, that motherfucker's good. But I knew for a year that I didn't want to fight, but I wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure. So I took that year to focus on, jiu-jitsu. What is life after fighting going to be like? Do I miss the lights? Do I miss cutting to 135? Do I miss, slamming my legs against the pads for 5 rounds, 25 minutes? Am I going to miss that? And it came out. I didn't miss it. So I was like, all right, my decision is good.
At any point in that process between you making that decision and you announcing it, was anything dangled in front of you? One last attempt? Nothing? Nothing that you considered?
They offered me to do a super fight with Mikey Musumeci. They're like, hey, what do you think about doing a grappling match with Mikey? And then we were going back and forth like with the price, and we just couldn't come to terms. And then they're like, how about a super fight with Mikey Musumeci? We'll do 1 round grappling, 1 round mixed martial arts. And I was like, guys, I truly don't care about fighting. I just had an offer, I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago for great money, phenomenal money. And I was like, I just don't care to fight. I truly don't care to fight mixed martial arts anymore. So yeah, I'm happy those opportunities came to me, because I never forget when I was on the couch and they called me to fight Rodson, and I was like, let's fucking do it. Like, let's lace it up, call Matt. And Matt was like, let's get it. And then when those opportunities presented itself, I was like, no, I don't really care. I'm getting opportunities from jiu-jitsu competitions to go out there and grapple some monsters. But I'm like, I don't care. Like, for me, jiu-jitsu is fun. Like, I get to go out there and just compete and not worry about trying to get a big paycheck or anything like that, or to press conference and all that stuff. Maybe one day I might get to that point, but right now it's truly fun. Like, I'm signing up with this tournament. I pay my $150. I pay my IBJJF, yearly membership, and I show up like a weekend warrior, and I go to work, and then after the tournament is done, I go home back in the lab, and we start cooking. Me and Wanzo, we start cooking. We start cooking.
That offer 3-4 weeks ago, what was that?
I don't want to discuss it.
Was it MMA? Was it MMA?
It was mixed martial arts.
Outside of one?
It was outside of one. Was outside of one. But I was like, guys, I'm retired with one. My contract. I have fights left on my contract.
Okay. So you couldn't even do it.
I was like, I couldn't do it. But I'm sure if I truly wanted to do it, I'm sure I could have talked to Chaudhry and the organization. But I just don't care to fight. Like, I told him, I was like, that sounds like great money. I told my wife was like, damn. You sure, baby? And I was like, babe, I don't care to fight. So
more than what you were making at one?
People throw price tags around.
Okay.
But you can't believe the price tag until them zeros hit the bank account.
But in terms of what they were saying, it's actually more?
Yeah, it was more.
Damn.
But at the same time, I don't care to fight. Like, I truly find more enjoyment on talking to people, building the Mighty Cast, the YouTube channel, working on the Mighty brand. We got season 2 dropping. I got some big projects coming up down the line. Like, my goal is, can I make more money from building the YouTube, the Mighty merch, the project coming out in 2025? Can I make more money doing that stuff than fighting? When I do that, that's fucking, you made it. That's fucking dope. Like, Conor's made more money from proper number 12 and all the shit he's got going on than he has from fighting. And that's amazing in my book. That's what every athlete should strive for. Like, okay, I've made, $5 million for fighting. Can I make $20 million outside of the cage? That is my goal now.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand. One last thing. You piqued my. I have to. Was it from the UFC? The offer?
No, it was not from the UFC.
All right. I'll leave it at that.
Was not from the UFC.
What was it like? You make the announcement. It's a beautiful speech. You're emotional, and then it's just like everyone is weighing in on you. I can't even imagine. Like, you're one of those guys. I'll text you if a reply isn't coming within 10 minutes, like, it seems like something is wrong. I remember you texted me like 36 hours later. I can't imagine what your phone was like and the messages. What is it like when you get all that praise, all that love, all these people reaching out and just showering you with it all? How do you handle that?
Just one day at a time, I guess. I had a lot of great messages from fighters, Izzy, T Wood. I mean, the list just goes on. It just goes down. Best friends from high school, just everybody. And I'm always grateful. I've always been very kind to everybody I come across, and for them to show me the same respect and kindness, I'm just grateful. And then obviously I got to you, 36 hours. I apologize, Ariel. I'm sure you wanted to be number one.
No. It just made me think, man, I can't imagine what the text messages are like right now. And for me, like, I get uncomfortable when anyone sends me something sort of quote unquote nice. And so I just wondered if it was weird for you to just see all this love and all this admiration and all this praise being thrown on you.
No, it was cool. It was cool. Like, I don't know how to answer that question, but it was cool. Like, I went through every single text message and I responded to every single one of them. And I'm just grateful. And I think it came out of left field, right? Because, I still train every single day. Can I fight? Oh yeah, 1000%. Like, I still have it. You never truly lose it. And I think making that announcement, I think it caught people off guard, essentially. So there was people out there. I mean, you kind of knew I was going to retire because you talked behind closed scenes. Chatri knew, Matt Hume knew, my wife knew, Michael Wandsworth knew, and a couple of my close friends. But the world, the public, everybody's like, man, which DJ going to fight again? Man, can we get DJ back in the UFC? Alex Pantoja versus Demetrious Johnson. Like, my name is still being talked about, even though I haven't fought in a year. So that always feels good. But I think I caught a lot of people off guard.
What was my favorite part about all of that? In the cage, when you made the announcement, that was you. And that is the you that those who know you have known for a long time. I remember always saying, like, man, I would talk to you, I would talk to you in Montreal and stuff like that, and talk to you before your fights, and you're dropping F-bombs. And I'm like, why can't we get this DJ in the UFC? Now we get him. Now we know who you are. You show us who you are on your social media, on your YouTube. And the guy in the cage was exactly you. You were dropping, curse words and all that stuff. You were taking the microphone. You were just so comfortable in your skin. And the voice cracking and the crying was just amazing. It was just amazing. It was. Did you like? Were you consciously trying to fight it? Is that why you went so high, or is that always how you sound when you get emotional?
That's how I sound when I get emotional. It doesn't happen very often. My wife doesn't see me cry often, and I didn't think. You always think, oh, I'm gonna prepare a speech and this and that, but I kind of like to raw dog it. I like to just go out there, speak from the heart. And your boy, got a little high pitch. And at the end of the day, I don't regret one thing in my career. When you said, how can we get this type of comfortable Demetrious Johnson in, the octagon? Because I was when it's time for me to fight, I'm a different person. Like, I'm truly a person set on a mission. Like, when me and Matt, we would be strategic. We would come up with these elaborate game plans against the athletes who would fight to defend the title. Like, I was stepping in the cage. I'm like, okay, it's time to fucking go to work. Like, I ain't got time. I was just a different person. Now that I'm not competing and I'm not trying to be the best in the world, I can just be me. Not that I wasn't being me, but I show up and I'm like, all right, it's time to fight. Shake hands. Let's get it.
Incredible. It's really incredible. And what's so, I guess, for me, I will just say it's frustrating because I feel like you get more respect from people now than you did when you were fighting. And that bothers me. That annoys me. Does it not annoy you a little bit?
No, I think, we just dropped that Anthony Pettis podcast on the Mighty Cast. Make sure you guys check it out. And me and him talked about it. Like, I think at the time when I was doing my thing, and even in, one championship, the beautiful knockout when I did Adriano the second time, even when I got knocked out by Adriano, that time period during COVID was kind of weird. And a lot of people didn't realize I was still fighting over in Asia, but the power of social media and just everything now is just so magnified. So when people look at like the back of my career, they're like, holy shit, like this guy did this and this. He's so creative. He's intelligent. He never really fucks up outside of the cage. He never misses weight. I think people nowadays can appreciate, you know, how I handled my career. And then you look at today's mixed martial arts, you see some guys who just, they're fighting so often. You know, when I won the belt back in 2012, I remember I beat Joseph at UFC 152, Jones versus Vitor Belfort. I beat Joseph, turned around, defended my belt in January, got surgery, shoulder surgery in March. Then I turned around and I fought John Moraga, finished him in, I think it was the 4th round. And then I turned around in December, knocked out Joseph. You're not going to see, it's very rare that you see a champion be so active, right? But in today's market, it's very rare where I did 3 title defenses and had surgery in 1 year, 1 calendar year. So I think people can look back on my career and appreciate that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I hope that they are taking this time to learn. If they don't know, there's a lot of new fans don't know about you. If you were to tell a new fan, you know, a 2020 fan, a 2022 fan, there's a lot of these new ESPN era fans, nothing wrong with them. We love them, but who weren't watching in 2013 and 2012 when you were bursting onto the flyweight scene. What's the quintessential Demetrious Johnson fight? What's the fight that you would say, okay, watch this one first? Which is the one you're most proud of?
That's hard because every single one of them, something happened. Like I never forget the first time I was fighting Dotson. Boy, that man, he hit fucking hard. He dropped me so many times, and I remember, you know, digging deep and then pushing through, and then just finding the clinch and just, you know, beating him up. And then, you know, you had the Kyojo Horiguchi. I did not want to be there, sick. Then when I fought Dotson the second time, the Chris Curiaso. I mean, there was all highlights I could take from every single one of my fights. So I can't just pinpoint like, watch this one. But I would say watch all of them and just see how I was able to evolve while being a champion. Like you look at champions today, my opinion is, and this is why I'm so grateful for Matt, is that Matt were literally, I would come back and I would destroy. Like when I beat Wilson Hayes, do you think we went back to the gym? Matt was like, "Oh man, that shit, boy, you put his ass in the matrix. You got that armbar." No, Matt didn't do that. Matt was like, "That looked bad. We're gonna work on your grappling," and I would just focus on that area in mixed martial arts where you see some guys come out and they fight and they look exactly the same. And I get it. Like you're at the top of the food chain and the pinnacle of the sport, but Matt always forced me to change and be crafty and intelligent. And I felt at the very end of my career, that's when I reached kind of perfection. It took me 18 years to get there, but like when I fought Adriano the second time, granted the rounds were close back and forth, but that's what you have to do in order to get to that sweet spot to land that beautiful flying knee. Then the third time I fought him, I was like, okay, we're moving outside. I was like, okay, he's longer than me, so I can't get a 5-piece chicken meal on him. Each time I try to get close to him, he runs away. Okay, so we're just gonna try to beat him up in the clinch. And then I just beat the shit out of him in the clinch for 5 rounds. And then I was like, I feel like I've kind of figured out mixed martial arts. But the context of the thing is that it's very hard to see athletes change and develop their skills at this level of mixed martial arts. Like Valentina Shevchenko is one of them, who was a champion that each time she came out, she always impressed me. I'm like, wow, you are a champion and you continue to get better. It reminds me of me when I was a champion. I kept on getting better and being more cerebral and intelligent inside the octagon. And I feel like you don't see that now today.
You know, you said moments ago, no regrets, very happy, you walk away content. And I believe you. I'm just wondering, is there someone you wish you had an opportunity to fight?
I think GSP, even though he's bigger than me, because I think he's also intelligent. John Jones, I would love to fucking fight him. He would try to do that. I'm like, no, like, no, I would. My clinch, I know my clinch game is way better than his. I'll put money on that.
And by the way, are we talking like flyweight DJ against light heavyweight, like open weight fight, or you wish you were the same weight?
No, God, I wish I was the same weight.
Okay, because I think you can hang open weight.
No. He's too long. Too quick, too cerebral. Like those. I mean, and the only reason I say those is because they're so good and they're very intelligent. And I'd be curious to see, like, for example, when I train with Aljo, we would move around. And from what I saw when I watched him fight, and I felt Aljo's, when he realized his best asset is his grappling, and then when we grappled, granted Aljo is way bigger than me, I'm like, Jesus, you are a big body. Even though I fight at 135, I don't cut as much weight as him, but he's still a big body. And I'm like, God damn. So I'm like, okay, that fight would have been very, very hard because you're just bigger and your grappling IQ is so high. So when I call out, not call out, but when I say GSP would have been a great one, John Jones would have been a great one because they're so intelligent and athletic and good, that what would happen if I was 205 pounds and me and John Jones were to fight? And I still had all my skill set and he has his skill set. Or if John Jones was a mini version of 125, what would that look like? So it's their brain that I want to fight. I don't really care about their attributes. I want to see what their brain would do in my pressure or my constant changing and transitioning between the aspects of mixed martial arts.
The morning after your announcement, I said the Mount Rushmore of UFC champions is the easiest debate to have in MMA right now. It's a very easy one in my opinion. It's John Jones, it's Anderson Silva, it's George St. Pierre, and it's you. I don't think there's any debate. A couple of people said Jose Aldo. Yes, if there were 5 on Mount Rushmore, yes, he's there, but there's 4 faces. Khabib didn't have the title defenses. I'm talking about people who defended the title multiple times. There's no debate in my mind. Agree or disagree?
I think you got it all wrong. Let me give you the 4.
Wow.
Get ready. There's Dylan, and Dylan.
This has gone over my head. What is that? What is that? What is that?
Oh fuck! If you know, you know.
Did I just get exposed? What is that? What did you just say? What had just happened there? What language was that?
Have you ever seen Making the Band with Dave Chappelle? When he was like,
I'm trying to get deep on you here, DJ. I'm trying to connect. You're hitting me with Dylan jokes. What is this? What?
I'm sorry. I hit everywhere with that joke. I think when you put in that aspect of guys who. No worries.
What?
Let's get back on track. So when
I was like, did you just short circuit? What happened?
No. One of your producers in the back jumped in my ear, and then I was like, "Who the hell is this guy? This isn't Ariel."
Okay.
And he said, "Sorry." So that's what happened.
No problem.
Don't think CTE concussions are coming up, gentlemen. I didn't get hit much in my career. Look it up. But let's get back to the Mount Rushmore. So when you put in that aspect of guys who had many title defenses, successful title defenses, who, finished their opponents during those title defenses, I think that Mount Rushmore is fair to say. Like, I was looking at one of my things and it says, out of my 11 consecutive title defenses, I had 7 finishes. That's fucking crazy. Like, I didn't even realize that until somebody was doing all the numbers for me. So I think GSP, he was very good, was always creative, super athletic. You have John Jones. John Jones, the only loss he's had is Hamill, and that was a DQ. But other than that, I always felt John Jones could finish anybody whenever he fought them. And then the other person, myself, and then you had Anderson Silva. Anderson, I think a lot of people don't put Anderson on there because he stayed maybe too long at the party. Because at the end of his career, he started taking loss. He lost to Izzy, lost to, a couple of guys. But if you look at that time when he was fighting Stephan Bonner, Forrest Griffin, Chris Eubank, even before he became the champion, I mean, he was doing magnificent stuff inside the octagon.
By the way, was that something you were conscious of? I don't want to be one of those guys. Unfortunately, there have been, who sticks around too long and has 5 straight losses and all this stuff. Like, have you seen those guys when you were fighting and said, I don't want that to happen?
No, I've seen the guys who end up quitting, they end up broke. That's when I said I don't want to be one of those guys. I think everybody, mixed martial arts is a very interesting sport. And I think everybody remembers your last fight. And, I can't say that somebody has stuck. In my opinion, I think some athletes stick around too long. And then as a person and as an athlete for myself, I think to myself, why are they still fighting? What is motivating them to still fight? Do they enjoy fighting? Do they need the money? what is the motivating factor for somebody to fight when they're on a downtrend or whatever it may be. So I like to, put those questions in my mind, but the only person who can answer that is that athlete, right? Like if I was to ask Anderson Silva, like, hey, why'd you, keep on fighting when you've made millions and millions of dollars, you're late 30s, going to your early 40s. Why are you still fighting? And only person who can answer that is himself. Same thing with Chael Sonnen. Like him and Anderson Silva had a boxing match, why'd you guys do it? They might say, why the fuck not? I'm like, you're absolutely right. Good luck, right? So it's only for them to answer that. But for me, I felt there was nothing else to prove. I wasn't having fun anymore. And I was relying on my body to make money. And so I was like, okay, well, let's change our mindset and let's start focusing on using my brain to make money, because I can do this. I can have the podcast. I can have the YouTube till I'm 75 years old. I don't plan on, I wouldn't want to fight till I'm 45 because your body breaks down. I've never taken drugs in my life. I don't want to start taking drugs. And it's just a natural progression of an athlete. You're going to get slower. You're going to start having injuries. So why not go out on top as a champion and healthy? That sounds amazing to me.
What is your reaction when you see these testimonials from fighters in these, in this class action lawsuit, and you see the state of their lives and their health compared to yours?
I'm gonna keep it 1,000% real. One, I don't know what those guys did with their money. I have no idea. I'm sure that Kung Lee and who else is on there? Shane Carwin. I think a lot of athletes. I feel comfortable saying that Shane Carwin and Kung Lee probably made more money than I did in the UFC. I could be wrong.
You think so?
But, well, I mean, I'm sure that I just feel Vanderlei Silva, I know he did. I mean, I just feel, from me, I feel like they probably did, right? I never got pay-per-view points, only one time. I feel like those guys were put in a position where they could have got maybe, a $2-3 million paycheck. I don't know. This is just how I feel. So when I hear that, and I could be absolutely wrong, but this is my opinion when I read that, my first thing comes to mind is, okay, what did you guys do with your money when you made it, right? When I fought, Matt Hume was absolutely amazing. He says, you're going to invest your money. You're going to save your money. That's what you're going to do. Granted, I'm 38 now. I'm 38 I'm hoping I live to 95. But from 38 to 95, that is a long span of years that I have to, make the money stretch, whatever it may be. So my first thing is like, okay, what did you guys do with your money? How much did you make? Were you investing it? As athletes, we don't have health care. Were you putting the money away from a rainy day? Like, those are the first thing that come to my mind. Yes, it breaks my heart to hear these guys they're struggling to do, everyday functional things, necessities, having a hard time, writing a book or whatever it may be, or do the things they need to do to get by. Like, it breaks my heart, but at the same time, I look at it, it's just like an NFL player. This isn't the first athletes that have gone through this, right? NFL players, they make all this money. They're not like, I'm fucking broke. I brought mom a car, got all this jewelry, got this, Rashard Millie. It's happened in football. I don't think it's ever happened in baseball. Them motherfuckers get big-ass contracts. I'm sure it hasn't happened in soccer. They get big-ass contracts. But besides the point, my first thing that comes to mind is like, okay, one, what did you do with your money? And two, how much money you made? I felt comfortable when I saw the guys on the list, like Vanderlei Silva, Kung Lee, those guys. I felt like they made more money in their UFC career than I did. The CPA or the person who runs all the financing in mixed martial art in the UFC, Zuffa, they can come back and tell the numbers they paid those guys compared to mine. But yeah, it breaks my heart. And hey, I'll tell you right now, like I tell my boys, I can't wait to get my check. I don't know what I'm gonna buy. What should I buy, Ariel? What should I buy?
How much is it? Do you know? Do you know?
I don't know, man. I can't wait to get it. I tell you that though, when I get it, I'm like, see, and here's the thing. When I get it, I'm going to invest the money, and then I'm going to put that money to work.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not, I might go out and buy a new watch. Happy Jewelers. You might be waiting for my call. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the money, but when it comes, I'm gonna be smart and strategic with it. I'm not gonna blow it. Yeah. And I hope all the other fighters from that class lawsuit do the same thing.
By the way, what's that one fight that you got pay-per-view points for?
Henry Cejudo.
First or second?
Second.
Okay, the one in LA.
Yes, sir.
Ironically, the last one, the one that you lost.
Yes, sir.
Weird. And I know you chose not to, but like, why was that one different?
All right. I'm not gonna go down this fucking road again. I've done it many times.
You've done it.
But,
If you've done it.
No. I mean, what was different? Because there was a point in time in the contract when Hunter Campbell came in there, and then we go back and forth. Then he says I didn't want pay-per-view points. And guys, think about this. How many times? I'm not even gonna go right there. Okay. So in my UFC career, when I first became the champion back in UFC 152, 2012, I was still on my old contract. The contract when I fought Ian McCall. When I became the champion, I got no new contract. I fought, what's his name? John Dotson, John Moraga, and Joseph Benavidez. By that time, I believe I was done with the contract. I maybe had 1 or 2 fights left. And I said, me and Matt was like, hey, I'll have to go back and look at the numbers. I might have been at like 40-40 or I don't know. Somebody can look it up. But then I remember when I fought, after I knocked out Joseph Benavidez, got the bonus, and then it was time for me to renew my contract. And I remember I said, I want pay-per-view points. And they said, we do not give him to flyweights. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the flyweight infancy stage was from 2012, and I got a new contract in 2013. So there was they said, we don't give him the flyweights. I said, okay. So they gave me 125 to show, 50,000 to win. Okay. I go through that whole entire contract. You have Kyoji, Chris Curiaso, Henry Cejudo, list just goes on. Then it came to the point where it's like, hey, you're up for a new contract. What do you want? I said, I want pay-per-view points. And I'm like, well, if you take pay-per-view points, you're not going to get, the 350. I'm like, Tyron Woodley just became a champion. He's getting 500,000 plus pay-per-view points. Don't play this fucking bullshit with me because I just talked to the motherfucker. So I'm on like 7 or 8 title defenses, and I'm asking for, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, I can't dictate what card I'm going to be on. You guys dictate that. So I'm going to go with the 350, and these guys are getting it, So then we had some shit came out. Hunter Campbell came in there. We had dinner, and then he looked at it and he goes, okay, we'll give you, and then I would get capped out at 400,000. And then when it came to the Henry Cejudo fight, I think it was at 380 because I went up every $10,000 escalator. They said, okay, we'll give you 1 pay-per-view point opportunity in your contract. And that's when I fought Henry Cejudo, and that's why I landed on that. So that's like kind of, so it was up, it was shout out to Hunter Campbell for giving me that opportunity, but don't fucking listen to when they're like, oh, he did what? Motherfucker, if I could dictate what card I want to be on and say, okay, when is this guy fight? Okay, this is going to be stack card. Okay, yeah, absolutely. But when the athletes don't have the opportunity to pick and choose, at least back in my day, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that, you guys, she said, he said, but if you look at my track record, I think I'm pretty spot on. And when I speak by it. I speak truth.
Yeah. Okay. Now I get the reference. By the way, a lot of people have supported you. You know this. I'd like to think that we supported you here, and a lot of fans and a lot of fellow fighters. But you do have to admit, no one supported you more than Dana White. I mean, you would say. Well,
shout out to MMA Guru. He's been amazing. I know a lot of people in the media and all that stuff. They don't really like.
That's my boy. That's my biggest fan.
He is your biggest fan, right? But that's one thing I love.
He's going to do a 45-minute video just on this 10-second interaction, just for the record. He's going to do a 45-minute breakdown. I love him too.
You know what? Yeah, he might. But let's get back to the question. Here's the thing, me, Dana, I have nothing against Dana White. My career was absolutely amazing. He gave me an opportunity to fight on one of the biggest organizations in North America. I made my name there. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope, the company keeps doing well and I keep killing it, right? But, he did support me, but, he did shit on me a couple times, and who hasn't Dana White shit on? He shit on John. He shit on everybody. I'm sure MMA Guru can do a video, and he would take the time to look at every interview that Dana White's done, and to see how many times he shit on his champions.
I was gonna say he hasn't shit on me.
Well, you're not a champion. That's why. He has shit on you before.
Yes, of course. Yes.
He has. But like I said, he's got to lay his head. He's got to lay his head down at a pillow at night. I sleep good. I'm sure he sleeps good. He's wealthy. His family's healthy. He's got a happy life. He's successful, and I have nothing, no ill will whatsoever from Dana White. I just look back at my career, and I just love, when he was like, "Oh, I didn't know he had an amazing career." Absolutely, he'd be inducted to Hall of Fame. Hey, you look at me. I defended Demetrious Johnson more than anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not too thrilled with Demetrious Johnson. He didn't want pay-per-view. Like I said, I wish, the only thing I do regret, I wish that I could have recorded every single conversation I had with them. That way, it's like, guys, but I think that might be against the law and data privacy or negotiation tactics. But that's the only thing I regret is that if everybody in mixed martial arts, in the UFC, wherever, if you can okay, we're going live, we're going to record this conversation. That way, everybody, we have receipts. All right, go. Woo!
I'd love that too. I'd love that too. By the way, if you don't get inducted into the Hall of Fame next July, are we allowed to riot? It has to happen, right?
Y'all can do whatever the fuck y'all want. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I believe that what I've done in my career in mixed martial arts, I guess, is spectacular.
Yes,
and
I would say so.
We'll see what happens.
I would say true or false. True or false. In your lifetime, there'll be a fighters union.
No, I don't think there will be.
Why not?
I think because you'll always find somebody who will fight for less. And the brand is too big. I learned this a long time ago. At one point in time, one of my coaches, he pointed this out to me, and I kind of realized that. You look at, there's a couple big stars in the UFC or any organization, but when you see somebody, they're like, "Oh man, look at that UFC fighter! Look at that UFC fighter!" They don't say, "Oh, look at Demetrious Johnson, or look at Max Holloway, or look at Ilia Topuria." Obviously, they probably do that, but you have, the brand is so big, they can throw, two guys on there, and people are still going to tune in because it's the UFC. And there's always going to be someone who's going to fight for cheaper. The only way a union's ever going to happen is when you see all of the bigger stars come together and band together and say, "Guys, we're not fighting. You guys stop fighting. Stop." Can it happen? Absolutely. It's happened in Hollywood. It just happened in, the longshoremen. Because guess what? Them fucking containers, somebody's got to empty those containers. And you know who's not going to do it? The fucking people who, run the contracts. So I'm pretty sure the UFC has a certain amount of fights they have to give to ESPN. And if all the fighters say, "Guys, we're not fucking fighting. Stop fighting." But here's the thing. We don't make big enough. I'm not in a boat anymore. They don't make big enough contracts where they can be like, "Guys, we're not fighting for 2 to 3 years." There's going to be fighters out there, guys, I'm making 10 and 10. I got a wife, I got kids, I got medical expenses, I got a mortgage. They can't do that. But NBA stars, they can do that because their contracts are 20, 30, $40 million. If the whole mixed martial arts roster was making 20 million, if everybody had $2 million in the bank, they can take some years off to be able to negotiate a contract. But they don't want to do that because the UFC has a contract with ESPN that they need to fulfill those contracts. If they don't, then they're in, liability. They're a breach of contract. So in my lifetime, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't honestly think it will ever happen just because that motion, we don't make it. The fighters don't make enough money. And we're designed to hate each other, and we're fighting each other, and he got this contract and da 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 da. It's just too much of this for the fighters. We always want what the other person has.
Why do you think now more than ever the gap between the UFC and the competition seems bigger than ever?
Competition as in
the other promotions.
I think because the UFC has spent so many years building, and it's a marketing machine. I mean, you look at the social media, you look at what ESPN's been able to do, and I think Anthony Pettis said it best. You have Saturday nights is the big pay-per-view every, once a month, and then you have Dana White's Contender Series. Then you also have the UFC Fight Nights, and then you also have the branding of the UFC gyms around the world. Then you also, I mean, it's just, they're everywhere you look. If Sugar Sean O'Malley just fights and he knocks out somebody, he's on, the Pat McAfee show. You also got the Ariel Helwani show that is promoting all the fighters who fight underneath that brand. So I think when you look at it and you look, you take a step back and you look at it, it's okay, why, you have the PFL going on. You have Francis who's coming back to mixed martial arts. You have the PFL. You have one championship, which they're killing it over in Asia. The Denver event sold out. I still think, second or right behind it is one championship because they have a different product than the UFC. They have mixed martial arts, Muay Thai, kickboxing, grappling. And I just think the UFC is just at a point where they have the biggest stars in North America. And they're also getting big stars from Asia for people who actually follow the sport on a deep level. They just got Kai Asakura, who's going to be taking on Alex Pantoja. If you guys don't know who Kai Asakura is, he's a nasty stand-up artist. He has losses. Manel Kopp has knocked him out. Kyojo Horiguchi has knocked him out. But they're bringing this guy over to, that's a big. He was the champion in Ryzen, and he vacated his belt to come to the UFC. When you have athletes doing that, now everybody who followed Kai Asakura in Ryzen, they're gonna follow his ass over to the UFC, and then now they get the viewership from Japan. So, there's a whole. I mean, it's a marketing machine.
Just a couple more left, and then I'll let you go. This has been amazing. I could talk to you for hours.
You good, babe.
You're the man.
Hang on, let me get a sip of my protein shake. Shot the first form. Try to keep these calories up. Okay.
Okay. I'll ask while you drink. I love when you break things down and you get excited. Can you put your analyst hat on for a moment? The big return of Francis Ngannou this Saturday, Renan Fajeda, the Battle of the Giants, as they're calling it. By the way, Helwani Vision on DAZN pay-per-view. If you're watching at home, do check it out. And shout out to Bibiano Fernandez, by the way, who I understand is opening up a gym and having a seminar, which you will be a part of this Saturday as well. So shout out to another legend of the game. You think Francis gets it done, or is there any concern the layoff, switching your style and training, boxing back to MMA didn't work out very well for Conor? Obviously getting knocked out in his last fight, that can change you as a human being and as a person. Do you think he stumbles against the lesser known Renan Fajeda?
First, man, it's very hard. The biggest thing for Francis is he's very powerful. He can wrestle. He does have submission victories. He is fighting against a bigger gentleman, but that's never stopped him. Yes, he did get knocked out by Anthony Joshua, and I did believe Anthony Joshua could beat him in mixed martial arts.
Yes.
That's when I said that, for full disclosure, when I'm sitting there and I'm watching the fight and I saw how Anthony Joshua was able to make those reads in boxing, why can't he make that same read in mixed martial arts? It's the same shit. The only thing that changes is you got 4-ounce gloves. Yes, Francis can kick. Yes, Francis can wrestle. But if you give a guy who's athletic like Anthony Joshua the opportunity to work with a guy like Faraz Sahabi or Craig Jackson or myself, but it's okay, we're going to he throws a kick, you check. Bring your motherfucking leg up and check it, okay? Keep that same distance, control the void, and wait for him to cross the void and land the right hand. I don't see why that doesn't transfer very well. But after seeing Anthony Joshua get worked and knocked out from the last guy, shit happens. Not everything I say is a big W. I take L's all the time. But I think Francis, it's going to be a hard fight because I think Francis switching back over to mixed martial arts, yes, he's going to have that knockout power, but how he's going to deal with the distance of trying to get to his opponent, get himself to the right positioning where he can start landing those shots. Yes, he has his leg kicks, but he hasn't competed. But I'm never going to count Francis out when it comes because I don't know too much about his opponent. I know he's good. I know he's athletic. I know he's big, but I just don't feel comfortable making a pick. But it's part of my job now. I'm gonna have to go with Francis on that one. But I just don't know. He hasn't been as active as I would like him have been in mixed martial arts.
Fair, very fair. Can't wait to see how it unfolds. By the way, on our YouTube chat right now, we have a poll. 41% of the fans say that you are in their top 3 pound for pound all time, and 18% have you as number 1. So let's go. Let's hear yours. Top 3.
What, pound for pound?
All time, greatest of all time, top 3.
Dylan.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
Top 3. So for me, it comes down. I don't care about John Jones, obviously, because everything I've been in a room with him and I've seen his mind work. I'll definitely say, God, Habib is good. Habib is really fucking good. Like he knows what he does and he does it so well. I would love to see him do more in a championship run, but obviously he just didn't. Oh man, Habib. God damn it. And then I'll have to say split third between GSP and Anderson. Like those guys, like when I look at Habib, like even though he wasn't as like, crisp on the feet and like his rhythm wasn't like how I would have liked it to have been, like he would, like what he did to Michael Johnson, what he did to Conor, what he did to all, I mean, dude, like, yeah.
You're not in
Habib
there.
is fucking,
Come on.
Oh, I don't put myself in there. I don't need to do that. You guys can do that.
So you're not putting yourself in there not because you don't think you belong, it's just because you don't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Like, I don't need to. Have another athlete put me in there. But I think for those 3, I think those guys, those 4, those guys were like, they did something very special, which we probably won't see it. We have new guys coming up. Ilia Topuria, you have Alex Pereira. You have guys who are really on fire right now that, can leave a long-lasting legacy in their careers.
You're a black belt when it comes to martial arts, in my opinion, all forms of martial arts, and your preparation, your planning is the highest of levels. And I love when I see incredible athletes then become media members, and in particular when they become interviewers, because you are so used to being on the other side of the questions, and there's a certain like ego that comes with that, and self-centeredness, if you understand what I'm saying. And now you have to completely change the way you view conversations because you're the one who has to keep the conversation going and asking questions. I think one of the best athletes to ever make that transition is Stone Cold Steve Austin, believe it or not. I used to love his podcast because you could tell his preparation was incredible. His follow-ups were great. His questions were great. His research was great. And it was a joy. Unfortunately, he doesn't do it anymore. And I'm putting you in that category now. Your questions, your preparation, your conversation, I'm not just saying it, I just wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. And so I'm just curious about your process. It doesn't seem like you have questions in front of you. It is clear that you are preparing, that you are doing the research, you're getting up to speed. So what, like, you have Pettis or Ferguson or Robert Whittaker or Izzy coming up on Thursday. What are you doing to prepare for that conversation? I'm actually fascinated.
Nothing, to be honest with you.
Wow.
The reason why is because I want to hear the story. Like for me, I've always been a good listener. I've heard that from my wife. I've heard that from my mother-in-law. And I truly want to know their story from their mouth. So, I just had Bo Nickel on. Amazing story, to hear his career through wrestling and then to hear him and his father still have an amazing relationship. And his father coached him, and that's kind of like the journey I'm on right now with my son. And I want to make sure I still have a great relationship with my son if he is successful in jiu-jitsu at the highest level, or if he doesn't, right? And so I kind of, love that aspect of the conversation me and Bo Nickel had. We just had Max Holloway on, which will be dropping next week because he's about to fight Ilia Topuria. Like, I love talking to Max. We've hung out before. He's another athlete who's very intelligent as well, how he, moves in his thought process. So I just like to talk to the athletes or the guests as the questions I want to know about them, essentially, right? Like, I would love to have like Michael Chandler as the person I have on. I want to have Tom Aspin on. I would love to have Conor McGregor on. I'm like, Conor, you're like, do you do cocaine, Conor? Like, it's okay if you do. Like, if Conor was like, mate, I love to do a little line here and there to get the juices rolling. Like, why is that a bad question to ask him? Like, I would love to have Gordon Ryan on or Craig Jones just to talk about the steroids. Like, there was a point in time before you put that needle or you took steroids. Like, what was going through your mind? Like, do you think you'd be just as good if you didn't take? Like, I have no problem asking those questions because I'm genuinely curious like, what's your thought process? Even when I had Mike Musumeci on, like, I was like, dude, if I were you, I'll be hunting all these motherfuckers. I don't care how, like, why. I just feel when I ask these questions, it's coming from an honest place. I'm not looking for sound bites. I want to know. Like, I truly want to know. Like Donald Cerrone, I just reached out to him. He wants to come back to fighting. Now, Donald Cerrone retired. Now he's come back to fighting. He was on TRT. He was open about taking testosterone. He goes, I feel so much better. Now, from my research and from my understanding, what I hear from other people around the world is that when you jump on TRT, when you get off it, your body hasn't been producing that testosterone. So that's a question I want to ask him. Like, what's that journey going to be like? That's a valid question. Ask somebody who's been a fighter. He's been open about TRT use, and now he wants to come back and fight. Is he going to get an exemption, or what's? What did you want to know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. No, this is great.
So that's how I approach my interviews. Is like, I follow these guys' careers. Before I have a guest on, I don't sit there and like, okay, he won this. I want the guest. I want the viewers to hear from their mouth, and I want their reaction to be just like mine. And that's why I love doing the podcast. It's like, I love to know these guys' stories. I talked to Anthony Pettis, hear about his journey and how he was always trying to be the businessman. He was always in Dana White's office, how he got on the Wheaties box. If you guys haven't heard that interview, do yourself a favor, go to the Mighty Gaming channel, the Mighty Cast channel, and subscribe. Listen to that one. But I just love doing it, and I just love the raw dog it, man.
By the way, you mentioned your kids. You have 2 boys and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Incredibly cute kids, by the way. Well done to both you and your wife.
Thank you.
Do you think any of them are going to become fighters like you? Not do you want them? Do you think they will be?
If one of them does, God. The oldest and the middle have the traits that could be a successful fighter. One, my oldest, he works hard and he understands, like, he's very good at jiu-jitsu. He could. And then my middle one, his technique and his mindset is so good, but he just doesn't care. But sometimes that makes the best athlete because I didn't care. It was something fun I did. But I'm not going to push them. I don't want them to be fighters. I just want them to be good people, good human beings, and enjoy their life.
Okay, here's the last one, and it's the most important one, and you're not going to be able to sit on the fence, all right? And it's a simple question. Who won the motherfucking trade? Now, once and for all, who won the motherfucking trade? Did the UFC win by acquiring Ben Askren, or did one win by acquiring you? Say it. Say it once. Say it for all. Who won the motherfucking trade? Go ahead.
It's no doubt. You look at your boy. I was a fucking working horse, the best in the world. Probably pound for pound. If you didn't count John Jones for skipping me, and then I think Ben Askren was out. He was retired. Ben Askren, we had him on the Mighty Cast. I'll drop soon, and we talked about it. But I think when you look at like just money wise, I think the UFC won because of how much more money they were able to generate and, quote unquote, from Dana White and those guys, I wasn't making them any money. But I think the sheer of just the fucking horse that one championship got, if I wanted to today, I could still fight. I don't think Ben Askren could still fight. I could still fight if I truly wanted to. He can't. And you look at the fights I was able to produce, the knockouts, the buzz that I was able to produce for one championship. It's easy, clear that they got the better athlete, the better fighter. But when it comes down to the money aspect of it, they probably won. But it's, what are you looking for? Are you looking to generate more money, or are you looking to have the best athletes in the world? You want to have the best athletes in the world? They got my black ass.
I love it, man. I love you as well. You're the freaking man. What a joy. When people ask me my favorites ever to cover, you're at the very, very, very top of the list. I feel like I'm constantly showering you with praise and love as well. And so I'll just say thank you for coming on. You're killing it now. I'm such a huge fan of what you and Once Over are doing. And I'm always there to support or help in any type of way. And thank you for doing the same for me throughout the career. I'll never forget Los Angeles, us in the hallway. Ramundi saying, why don't you come on the Fakakta version of the MMA? And you said, because that's my guy. Remember that in the hallway? He said, and I was like, fuck, man. In a moment where I was feeling like I was lost, That meant the world. The flyweight champ saying that in that moment in the hallway, I'll never forget it, how it made me feel. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Always here for you. Congratulations on an incredible Hall of Fame career. I feel confident in saying, unlike some other guys that we've heard come back after retiring, you're not doing that, and God bless you for it. Keep up the great work. Much love and respect.
Thank you, Ariel. Appreciate you. Hey, just because I'm done fighting doesn't mean you can't cover me in my jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
I'm in the lab right now trying to work some new stuff, and I appreciate you. Anytime you need me, you got my number. Just dial me, dog.
Thank you so much, DJ. Talk to you soon. There he is, the great Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson. What a legend. What a guy. What a chat. What a chat. It's always great talking to him, and I love that we get extended time. And what an evolution as far as his personality and what he has allowed us to see. Rick and I talk about, remember Rick? Remember that interview? Remember that interview when he was in Hawaii, when he dropped the bomb letter? Remember that, how mad he was, the whole TJ Dillashaw thing? And look how far he has come, because when he dropped that, we were all like, holy shit, man.
It was a side of DJ we hadn't seen before. It was the coming out of the shell of DJ. And to be honest, like, imagine the world where we didn't get that. Like, we get this every time now. Like, this is the guy that we get now. I God love the other version. I respect and admire DJ and how he handled himself and comported himself at that time. But this is the version I prefer, and I'm glad we got it.
Yeah. By the way, do you think we'll ever see a trade again?
Yes, I do.
You know, there was some talk, by the way.
Uh-oh, what you got? Tell me.
Have I talked about this?
Spill something.
There was some talk maybe a year or so ago of a couple of Bellator PFL trades before the purchase that I had heard of.
Sorry, you have to clarify, right? You're saying Bellator or PFL to UFC?
No.
You're saying between Bellator and PFL before PFL acquired Bellator.
Wait a second. Now it's all coming back to me. Let me take that back.
What was it really? Tell me.
It's not coming back to me. I'm rusty, but no. I take back what I said because I got mixed up because of the whole new era and the combining of the brands. It is tough. It is. It was Bellator UFC. It was Bellator UFC.
Oh boy.
There were a couple bandied about. There were a couple feelers thrown out. Yes. It was Bellator UFC, UFC Bellator.
Can we talk some names?
Not at the moment.
Ooh.
Not at the moment, because honestly, it's not because I'm not allowed to. It's because the memory is a bit foggy.
You actually want to go back and
Yes, I don't want to fuck it up. Yeah, I don't want to fuck it up. That's the kind of journalistic standards I'm holding myself to. But no, I misspoke there. It was Bellator, UFC, Bellator.
What are we talking on? Like, if your memories
big dogs.
We're talking juicy.
Yeah, big dogs.
Spicy.
Big dogs.
Okay.
I think it could happen, and I would love to see it happen.
It will happen, in my opinion. There are just times. If you ask me who won and UFC trade, both. That is what
you're giving me the old Timberwolves Knicks.
No. First of all, I think the Knicks won that trade. Second of all, the promotions each needed different things and continue to need different things. One needed DJ much more than they needed Ben Askren. UFC needed Ben Askren much more than they needed Demetrious Johnson at that time.
That's true. No, I couldn't agree more. They had holes to fill. Askren got them some big fights. If there's no Askren, there's no Masvidal moment, and you saw what happened there. The trickle-down effect is immense, and the same with DJ. DJ helped bring a lot of legitimacy to one championship. So I agree. I think ultimately it comes down to the question of who you think had the better career, and it's obviously DJ, and who had the better run post.
That's not quite true. It's not who had the better career, because that's not even a debate, right?
No. Like when people talk about the trade, I think when they talk about it in the aftermath, I think they start debating like whose resume is better. Which you're right.
That's not the right.
Well, no, which you're right. But then you could get into, all right, forget about the money. Just who performed better post trade.
Again,
who performed better post trade, and that's a part of the discussion. But then ultimately, what does the prize fighting business come down to? Prize making, right? Like the money that you're generating.
DJ said, look, we have to be honest about it, right? It wasn't Ben Askren who, Ben Askren had a huge part in it, but it wasn't Ben Askren winning fights and dominating in the way that DJ did that made the money. It was becoming that foil for Jorge Masvidal and then launching that to that rocket ship generated the money for the UFC. And so, yeah, we can't look at it at the basis of who's a better fighter or who was a better fighter from that point forward, the answer is always going to be DJ there. But he's shooting straight. He's shooting from the hip, as we do on Wednesdays.
Yes, right here
on the program.
And that's a good segue. By the way, 70% of the fans in our chat, the people's chat. I'm working on a name for the chat. Thumbs up to the chat. Thumbs up if you're watching us. Yeah. Screen. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Not screen. Sorry. Window. Sky. Clouds.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
They say that one championship won the trade. Okay. Coming up at 3:30, Johnny Eblen, the reigning defending Bellator middleweight champion, the man who will be rematching Fabian Edwards on Saturday on DAZN pay-per-view, Helwani Vision. Check it out, 4 p.m. Eastern. I hope you do check it out. Support our causes here. He'll join us, and then Brandon Royval, Raw Dog, who actually DJ said that a couple of times in the interview. I don't think he was referring to Brandon Royval, but that is in fact his nickname. So he'll join us at 4. Let's get back to some of the questions if we can. I didn't really get too deep into them. I did read Skinny's question about us saying that lower level cards are weak and that we should highlight. Correct me if I'm wrong. When we talk about some of these Apex cards, which is what he is referring to, I don't think we are disparaging the fighters. I think we're talking about the depth. I think we're talking about, the slate, if you will. And this is something that Dana White famously, was on camera talking about when he had that call with the Sherdog editors, like, your job, the media's job is to promote. The media's job is to cover. And the media's job is to tell stories and talk to fighters and do research and do journalism. Our job is not to promote. Now, a byproduct of all of that is promotion. You can't deny that. That's what I've said. Like this show, the purpose of this show is not to promote. It is to talk. It is to create content and entertainment and to show you a different side of fighters and fodder and all that stuff and escape. And there is a byproduct there. By virtue of doing all that stuff, we are promoting, intentionally or unintentionally. But that's not our job. That's not our purpose. The UFC's job, quite simply boiled down to its core, is to put on the best product possible, to then promote that product to the world and to get that world to either tune in on linear TV, on ESPN Plus, or on pay-per-view, pay their hard-earned money to watch the product. Their job is to promote. Our job is to cover. There's a big difference between the two. So again, it's not on us. Our job is to tell it like it is. If the product isn't great, we're not disrespecting the fighters. We're talking about the product. And we're holding the best promotion as far as combat sports is concerned in the world. MMA or boxing, they are number one by a mile, a country mile. We are holding them to a high standard because they have earned the right to be held to that higher standard. They have done all the right things to be put in that bucket. They deserve that. And so that's why when we say, this isn't up to snuff, it's not because we're trying to shit on the fighters. It's because we're just trying to tell it like it is. And that's why when the smaller promotions have cards that are even lesser than the worst UFC cards, they're not held to the same standards because they're not number one. The best CFL game isn't as good as the worst NFL game. It's just different. It's different stratospheres. The best EuroLeague game isn't as good as the worst NBA game. You can make that argument. Atmosphere-wise, EuroLeague games are incredible. But you get the point. Different levels. And so I hope that makes sense. All right. Nick, hi Ariel. In relation to yesterday's discussion about the BMF belt being on the line for Max versus Ilya, is Bilal Muhammad the lineal BMF champion? Let's see. So someone did talk about the BMF belt yesterday and said it was created for Masvidal. Who was it? My memory is horrible here.
It was Dustin.
Who, me?
Dustin was going through like...
Yeah. Actually, it was created by Nate Diaz, right? It wasn't... So it was created by Nate Diaz.
I think he was saying one, though, but one by Jorge. Because we were talking about... He was saying Max should be defending it, but then again, it was actually Jorge's and he didn't defend it. So there was the whole thing.
So Nate creates it. Masvidal beats him. Masvidal loses to Usman. So it goes to Usman, right? Usman, champ, loses to Leon. Leon, champ, loses to Bilal. Yeah. That's 100% right. Bilal Muhammad, clip this off for me right now. Tag him. Bilal Muhammad is the lineal BMF champion of the world. If we are going to honor what the word lineal means, and I'm a stickler for these things, just like I think Francis Ngannou is the lineal MMA heavyweight champion. He is, in fact, the lineal BMF champion. Now, I don't know the rules of the BMF title. I don't know how it actually works. Does it get to bounce around? Is it not a lineal? I don't know. But if we are going to compare it to the way the other titles, the standards that we place upon the other titles and their history and their lineage, then yes, you are in fact right. No notes. Newman, hello Ariel and crew. Welcome back and congrats on launching the combat sports juggernaut Uncrowned. PT has been an incredible addition to the show. I agree, and I'm really looking forward to the Boys in the Back on Thursday. Yes, 1 p.m. Eastern right here, same time, place, Boys in the Back. I have called Charlotte, North Carolina, home for the past 12 years. Little did I know when I watched Tough 29 back in 2021 that Charlotte's own Brian the Butcher Battle would emerge as a breakout star for the UFC in 2024. And if you have not seen his post-fight interview in Paris, it is a thing of beauty. It is 1984 WWF in a nutshell. You think I was going to lose to some French guy in Paris? I mean, it's just amazing. I can't do it justice. I watched him ignite the home crowd in May of 2023 with a 14-second KO of Gabe Green. And just a few weeks ago, I felt like a proud father watching him deliver the promo of the year in Paris after another spectacular finish. It was recently announced that he will face Randy Brown at UFC 310 in what will be the biggest fight of his career to date. When is the Butcher going to be on the AH show? And what are your thoughts on his future with a win in December? Future very high with a win. Future very high right now. I would absolutely love to have Brian Battle on, and I hope that he will come on. I don't want to be presumptuous, but he's an incredible character and very entertaining, and I loved that promo. And I wonder if he's a pro wrestling fan. Perhaps he's talked about it, but it felt very pro wrestling to me. So we shall effort, as they say in the business, Newman, to make that happen. Kenny, welcome back, Ariel and crew. You've been missed. How do you balance the relationships you've built with fighters over the years as a journalist with expressing your opinions as a viewer? For example, it seemed like Pena didn't like your initial scorecard, and Max may have not liked that you picked Arnold Allen to win the parlay. It seems like such a tricky, delicate situation to navigate. It is. And it's one that I learned many moons ago when I was working for Fox. And I remember, I think I picked against Rashad Evans, and they would ask me for predictions, and I think he got mad at me. And I remember saying to myself, and we're totally fine now. I love Rashad. He's an absolute gentleman and a legend. And I think I said, yep, I'm not going to do this. There is no value in this for me. There's no upside. I'm in the business of trying to talk to people and have good relationships. Contrary to popular beliefs, I'm not trying to have bad relationships. I'm trying to do the job as best as I can and ask pertinent questions like DJ was talking about. I'm not trying to piss people off. Sometimes I understand it could happen. And I really, truly do respect the people like Juliana who may disagree with me for whatever reason, but still say, yeah, of course, I know it's not personal. Me talking about a fight is not personal. As long as I don't say you're an idiot or a clown or a loser or a scumbag, that's not personal. That's just sports fodder. That's just what this is. It's not personal. I think there are some people who do take it personally, and that's unfortunate. I think, for example, our friend Bilal has been going on this tour of calling everyone out who has picked against him or slighted him in any kind of way possible and has taken it very personally. And I think personally that is not the best way to go, but everyone is different. When you make it personal, when you insult someone, then you could take it personally. But what did I always say on the show? If you say that you think I suck as a journalist, as a reporter, as an interviewer, X, Y, and Z, ultimately it could hurt my feelings, but I can't take it personally like I would if you say that I'm a scumbag, I'm a lowlife, I'm a rat, I'm a weasel, all these things, right? That I feel like is taking it personally. That is going low and below the belt, whatever you want to say. So I appreciate those people that say, hey, I don't agree with you, but let's talk it out. Or I'm not going to hold it against you, or I'm not going to take it personally. I disagree with you. I think you're an ass. I think you're wrong. I think you're a dummy. and we can move on. But the truth is, like, people always bring it back to like, oh, you just want people on your show, or, you know, you just want the access. Like, have you guys not figured out by now? We're good, man. We're good. Like, at this point, with what we got now, do you not realize if you don't want to come on, we're just fine. And now the pool has gotten bigger and there's way more people accessible. Like, we're just fine. We don't need the handouts. We don't need the access. We don't need the guests. We're more than fine. How many guests on this week? 14. We're good. So we keep swimming along. Eran, Shalom Ariel. Once again, congratulations on all your success. It is definitely a dream come true for you, but also for us. Wow, thank you. I have a serious question here. How do you manage to navigate through all the things in life? Family, work, hobbies, training. On one hand, I don't want to miss a minute of the program, but on the other hand, it's impossible in today's world to consume all the content while also staying focused on the important things in life. I'd love to hear your advice as well as the team thoughts. Thanks, Eran. I've heard this from some people, like, how do I consume all of this? Well, you don't have to consume it all. I hope you do. You also don't have to consume it all in one shot. I'd like to think that if you don't finish Monday's show, you could still check it out on Friday night if you're going for a walk, and it's still good on Saturday morning, or Sunday. Obviously, the page kind of turns because events will have happened. But, you know, that DJ interview is very evergreen, other than maybe the Francis question. There are plenty of radio shows and podcasts that are on every day. I used to consume the Howard Stern show a lot, and it was 6 to 10:30 a.m. every day. There are shows like the Dan Le Batard show and the Dan Patrick show and the Rich Eisen show and the Pat McAfee show and Mike and Mike back in the day, and on it goes, where they're on every single day for multiple hours. I'd love it if you consumed everything, but we believe that upping the content was desirable, and there was a void, and it was something that we wanted to do, and something that made a lot of sense. And I'm enjoying it. 3 days in, I'm having a great time.
Hard disagree. Consume it all.
Okay, fine. Consume it all.
All of it.
All right. I'm just saying, like, I've heard this from a lot of people. What do I do? There's too much. I'm not done Monday's show. I'm not done Tuesday's show. My response would be, get your shit together.
Wait, there's going to be more.
Yeah, priorities.
We're giving you more.
All right, fine.
This train is going faster, so consume it all.
I will say, can I be honest for a second? Here's my biggest concern, and it's almost not even fair to worry about it right now. This is something that I've thought about. I have a very hard time shutting off my brain. Like yesterday, I mean, you guys can attest to this. Like, I'm texting or slacking stuff, and it was like 1 a.m. I have a very hard time coming down, and I need to do better at just like saying, okay, now I'm going to stop thinking, stop getting fired up, stop contemplating working, whatever, and focus on kids, family. I don't think I do a good job. I don't think I did a good job of that last night. My family came home from Montreal, and I don't feel like I was like there. I don't feel like I was present. Now we're going through a lot of stuff here. We're doing a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things being done. I don't think that will be the same in 3-4 months. I certainly don't want it to be the same, and I hope it's not the same. But I think I do a very, at times, poor job of this. How do you do? What about you guys? What?
Are you asking us to weigh in on whether you do a poor job?
No.
Or
how do you shut your brain off? How do you? Because look, I'll be honest with you. You talk about movies, right? You talk about going to the theater.
I love movies.
I don't know if I could do it. I honestly don't know if I could do it.
Definitely
Why?
can.
Explain it.
I don't know if I could do it. I
you
don't
do
know
is
if
sit
I
there.
could shut my brain off and just sit there and not think about work or not text or not email.
Force yourself to do it. Go do it.
Step one, put the phone away.
Yeah, you say that, and you do a great job of it, and we joke about it. But the truth is, like, I am somewhat envious of that. I don't think I can't do it.
Yeah, you can.
I don't think so.
You just
I
need to
legit
phone.
What's
don't
going to
think.
happen if you just put it in a drawer for a couple hours?
Yeah, where's your phone right now?
It's right here.
There has to be, what's the longest time we're going here? Like, there has to be a moment where you're not on your phone. Even if it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, when I'm
what is
sleeping.
the longest time?
When I'm sleeping.
No, okay.
Where is
except
it when
for
you sleep? Right next to you?
It's right next to me. Yeah.
No. Don't count sleep. What like?
No, but listen, I set goals that I'm actually embarrassed by. goal, like, and actually some of them I've accomplished. Like I used to wake up and check Twitter right away. I don't do that. Like I consciously say you're not going on Twitter, but I do wake up and check to see if there's a text or an email. I do that 100%. Now, so I think there's a small victory there. I used to wake up right away, check Twitter, and someone says you're, a dirty punk Jew, and my day was ruined at 6:30 a.m. I've conquered that goal, but I hear from people who say, I wake up and don't look at my phone for an hour, and I don't know how that's possible.
There's a combination of two things, right? Twitter.
At least I'm being honest.
No, and I can appreciate your honesty. Waking up and checking Twitter isn't a responsibility, right? Like, because there's nothing on that platform that is providing anything to your actual responsibilities and the things you have to do and the obligations. Checking your texts, right? There's things, you're booking the show, there's things that could happen. That is a responsibility, and one that I don't envy your position in terms of how you can escape that, because you do have a lot on your plate. You just have a lot going, and that is a reality. But those ones that are not responsibilities, start to cut those out. That, like you have done with Twitter. The ones that are responsibilities, I don't have a solution for, because you are interwoven into so many of these different things. I don't think you can separate all of it, but there are things that aren't responsibilities that you can.
I will say, once I got into the groove of post Paris, like our trip to Europe, I was pretty proud. Like there were times where I'm like, the phone is going in my bag, and I'm not going to look at it.
So why can't we return to that? Oh, because we're
this is obvious. This is obviously a little bit of a different time, right? But like when you're in the thick of it. Shout out to KSI. I'm in the thick of it. Everybody knows. It's class.
Still haven't heard it. Still haven't heard it.
Fuck.
No.
I need to do a better job. I'm excited about tackling this somewhat ridiculous challenge. Like the only concern I had when we decided to go more days and do all this stuff was I enjoy working with a trainer, because I don't think I am good enough at just working out on my own. And the boxing and all that stuff. And my usual cadence was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday if I'm not traveling. Now Tuesday's out of the window. Thursday I will do in the morning earlier, and Friday we're somewhat free. That's PT's day. And so I'm like, oh man, I'm missing out on the Tuesday. But these are sacrifices that you make, and you just have to adapt, and you just have to, you have to figure it out.
When you're in the boxing ring, you have your phone?
No, I do not. By the way,
okay, so
you know what? I think that's actually why I love it so much.
Okay, so we've just realized that you can do this, and you just need to find more windows of time to do it.
What happens if you're at home and you're trying to spend time with your kids, and you put the phone in your bedroom or something and go back and hang out with your kids? What happens? You start getting anxious, like you start scratching.
It's legit. It's legit. It's almost like a fear of what you're missing out. And there's a weird pride that I have in responding right away, and I want
we don't
the accessibility.
We know.
No, that's bullshit. That's bull. I don't get mad.
The
Fuck
cutoff
off.
is 1 hour, right?
Frank, 5 minutes ago, this text came in. What's the deal?
He did say the cutoff. What have you ever put the phone away and then come back to it and you?
Can I tell you? There's a couple of times. You remember I was having dinner here on Friday because it was about to be Yom Kippur, and so I got a challah from Wegmans.
Shout out.
And I love having challah on Friday nights, Shabbat. And by the way, happy Sukkot to everyone out there celebrating. I consciously on Friday night put the phone in another room, and it's a very empowering feeling. And I last maybe an hour. But here's the thing that I'm about to face. Truly, this is going to be the biggest challenge for me when it comes to this. And I might be getting roasted here for all I know, but my oldest son, doesn't have a phone yet. He's one of the last. He's in 7th grade. He's one of the last kids, if not the last. So we were trying very hard because I know what it can do. But soon he's going to have the phone. And if I'm on the phone, I can't tell him not to be on the phone.
Yeah, he's going to learn from you.
Yeah. And he probably already has to some degree, and that's on me. But that might be the thing where it's I need to talk the talk and walk the walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's your screen time?
Fuck, man. What do you think it is?
13 hours.
Yep, that's it. You nailed it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You put it down when you like brush your teeth and stuff.
Jeez, I
right?
feel so good about myself. Thanks, Ariel.
What do you got? What do you got?
I'm not far from you, so maybe
have
I
5
have
hours.
to
What is
reevaluate
yours?
my
Seven?
life. I'm
Seven?
in the 11 or 12.
Wow.
I'm
I
in
used to
11 or
shame
12.
my roommate for being at 8.
I'm
you're
up
on
there
like
too.
2, Connor.
12?
I am 557. Wow.
Is that true? 5:57,
Yeah.
Frank. Explains the lag time in response.
I don't
tough.
even know where my phone is right now.
I'm
That's
10:45.
GC's got to be low. G's
What are you?
GC's
What are you,
competing
GC?
with Frank.
I want to say last week it was like 4:15, and I still see
That's
that. And I'm like,
good.
God, I got to get that
4:15.
That's
down.
good, man.
Down.
I don't even
that's all
feel
You
fair.
that.
guys walk around this office sometimes like zombies.
Oh,
The
yeah.
meme.
No, my favorite.
The
this
meme
happened
creation
last
alone
night.
has got to take more than 4:15.
That's on a computer,
Yeah.
though. I feel like that's.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
okay, okay.
That's
Oh,
true.
yes. If you add it in the computer, I'm obviously higher than that. I also, on these commutes, Rick is banging out like Magic the Gathering on his phone.
Sure.
I am reading a book. I
Good for
won't
you.
get on my phone when I'm commuting.
By the
How
way,
is the
that
book
wasn't a
club?
joke. I actually am playing
Book,
Magic the Gathering.
book club's
Yeah.
great. I just finished the second book today on the train ride in. It's good stuff.
What book are you reading?
This month it was one called The Wedding People. It was nice and emotional at the end. You know, it was really touching. And then a woman next to me on the train vomited this morning. It was a great
Probably
way
from
to
the book,
great
right?
way to start my morning.
Yo, Ariel, that's actually a good thing to do, though. You know, like reading hard copy books instead of like a Kindle or something before you go to sleep.
Never been a Kindle guy.
Yeah, I can't do it. So if you read like pages, a proper book, it kind of knocks you out before you go to bed.
What are you reading now?
As opposed to an improper book.
PT, what are you reading now?
You all right,
I have
man?
no sound.
Someone talking to him in his ear like they did DJ.
PT, can you hear me?
I don't think he can hear us.
What happened to him? All right. So what do you got in your hand there, Connor?
This is the book I just finished.
Could we just
Shout out. I got another one ready for the train ride home. The Alchemist. I mean, look at
Oh,
it.
The Alchemist. Is that
out.
Ayn Rand?
Nope.
No.
Paulo
Damn it.
Coelho.
tried.
I tried.
I don't know. Shout out
It's
to
tough.
No, we can't do what I was about to ask.
13
so
hours,
we're
man.
gonna skip on that. I was about to ask for something and we can't. So moving on.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, just can't.
You're
Sorry.
just not going to tell us.
No, I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, that was weird. Did you see that?
Bye.
Or was that just my monitor? All right.
No, we saw it. It was, yeah, that was there.
Working through the kinks. Thumbs up to the chat. Thumbs up to the chat. Thumbs up to the chat.
Let's just make that our safe zone, right? Like thumbs up to the
chat,
chat.
baby.
Just the chat's thumbs up.
The chat thumbs up is like our safety net.
Yeah.
Everything good? Thumbs up to the chat.
Thumbs up to the chat. We're good.
Oh, beautiful day here in New York City. Can I squeeze in one more or no?
Yeah. Squeeze in one.
All right, here we
I'll
go.
allow it.
Okay, here's an important one. Ariel, so happy you are all back and doing this the way you wanted to. Love to see it. My only gripe, why are we going back to the name Parlay Boys? Sounds terrible. And makes no sense now that Juliana is a part of the Pals. I know she is the one that keeps saying it, but man, you guys need to solidify the name and stop going back and forth. Parlay Pals for life. Thoughts, guys? What are we doing? I mean,
As always, through the entirety of this show, been Parlay Pals.
yeah. There was a point where it went back to boys,
No, it was boys. It was boys because Juliana.
Y'all tried to start this boys revolution when Juliana improperly called us the Parlay Boys.
I like when Juliana called it that.
So once and for all, it's Parlay Boys with or without Juliana.
Please, for the love
No,
of
it's
God,
Pals.
Parlay Pals.
Connor wants
It's
pals.
the alliteration. It's so easy. It's right there for us.
I
Parlay
like that
Pals.
Juliana coined it though. That's why I'm on board with.
I gotta shoot her a.
Also, we're
shoot her
the
a text,
boys.
get her
We're
pick
the
for
boys in
tomorrow.
the back. So I feel like, come on, it fits.
Yeah. All right.
The debate will rage on.
I think we haven't actually accomplished anything with that one. Time for one more?
No.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of flying blind here.
No time for one more.
Okay. By the way, GC, any plans to discuss your bets in greater detail each week on the boys in the back? Yes. Trin wants to know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna do bets. I don't know about in greater detail. Maybe less detail actually.
Okay, but that's coming tomorrow. People are asking.
Tomorrow, yes.
Tomorrow?
Bets tomorrow. Parlay Pals tomorrow.
Okay, and bets for PFL.
Oh yeah.
All right.
NFL and Apex 99.
That's right.
Apex 99.
We're
Right
this
before
much
the
closer to the love
Apex
letter.
Mania.
Yes, to the love letter to the Apex. All right, well, speaking of PFL and speaking of the Battle of the Giants card, which, by the way, DAZN pay-per-view, 4 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on DAZN, Helwani Vision, the first of its kind. You can get it if you buy the pay-per-view. Come hang with me and my pals. One of the biggest fights on the card, of course, is for the Bellator middleweight title. It is a rematch of a fight that happened a little over a year ago. It is Fabian Edwards versus our guest at this time, the reigning defending Bellator middleweight champion, joining us from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the one and only Johnny Eblen. There he is. Hello, Johnny. How are you?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing great.
I kind of have some issues with the Wi-Fi out here. I got a hotspot.
Oh.
I don't know. The Wi-Fi has been an issue lately.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, we're going to try to work through it, I guess. Where are you? Are you in your hotel?
I'm not in a hotel. I'm at a coffee shop right now. We were just touring the Sky Tower at the Kingdom Tower.
Okay.
It's like it takes you like in an elevator all the way up to the top, and you like take this like sky bridge, and it like basically is a whole view of the city at night, and it's truly something like crazy.
Well, second time for you fighting there, right? Any difference this time around? Does it feel familiar? Does it feel any better, worse, different? How would you describe it?
It feels better. I understand like the time difference. Like I'm glad that I got out here early like last time, and I brought some more friends along. Definitely feels more familiar. I know where to go to get groceries. I know it's very familiar. So it feels more routine this time around than last. It was like a bit of a culture shock last time.
I was talking about this at the beginning of the show. Francis and Henan aren't fighting for a traditional belt. It's like the super fight title. Same Pacheco and Cyborg. Your title is on the line, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the Bellator middleweight title is on the line. When they presented you Fabian 2, a little over a year after you fought him and stopped him, were you into it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm the type of guy, if you put anybody in front of me, I'm going to fight them. You know, I'm looking for the next fight, the next paycheck, and I'm always looking to showcase my skills to everybody. And he was the next guy on the list, and I don't technically agree that he earned the rematch that quickly, but it is what it is. We don't have that much depth where I'm at, so you're going to have some rematches pretty quickly. But it is what it is. I'm working with it, and I'm not too upset.
So like I said, you did stop him. It was a decisive stoppage, but it felt to me, correct me if you feel otherwise, it was the first fight that you had to deal with some adversity. Sort of like Kayla over the weekend. She got cut. You got cut. You had to kind of cross over a bridge that maybe you aren't used to crossing over. Is that fair for you? Is that how you look back at that fight? That was one fight where you were tested and had to dig a little deeper.
Absolutely. You know, even my last fight with Impa, I had to deal with. I got knocked down in the second. I had to come out, dig deep, and win the fight in the third. So similar type of fight. The last time I fought Edwards, except he had me cut, and the fight might get stopped early, and I really had to dig deep and push the action and push the pressure, and I finished him. And you know, it's hard to do, and I'm glad that I was able to get that done. And yeah, I think it's important for guys to see that. Well, for me, it was great to see that, or for that to happen, and I still come out on top, because usually that's not the case.
Where is your confidence coming off of the Impa fight, where again you did have to dig a little deeper? Where are you at in terms of your level of confidence about your skills and going into this fight?
I think my skill set is better than it's ever been. My confidence is very, very high, but I always have a little bit of doubt, and that's what keeps me driving forward and keeps me getting better. Is that like that bit of insecurity? Is that bit of insecurity in the back of your mind is the reason why you train a little bit extra, or the reason why you work do a few more reps on that technique, or why you wake up a little bit earlier and get to the gym earlier. It's those little things that drive me to be better.
And I saw Fabian at the media day, I believe it was earlier today, where he said there's nothing personal between you two. He doesn't, at one time, he may have felt one way, but nothing personal, especially considering the aftermath of the fight. I wasn't sure if you were questioning me by doing that or cracking your neck. How do you...
No, I was cracking my neck.
Okay, fair enough. Initially I thought, but then you did it the other way. What about you? Is it personal between you and Fabian?
Nah, man, it's not personal. I think this time around, it's been better. Like, at the end of the day, we're both high-level athletes, both killers, and we're here to do a job. And I think this time around, we're treating it more like that. Not too much with the annex, not too much with like when we do the face-off. We're not getting emotional, and I think it's good. You know, it's just us growing as fighters. And also, we've already been in there, done that, and I knocked him out last time. So it's like if he comes in with an attitude, it wouldn't really make any sense. And for me, you know, I'm just going to share that respect back to him because he's not trying to pull anything or be emotional about anything.
Once and for all, what is the truth behind the spitting incident?
It didn't happen. I was just saying my choice of words, swear words that I don't want to repeat, but I ended one with a P, called him a P, whatever, finish it however you want. And, you know, that action made it look like I may have spit on him, but no, it didn't happen. And I think I watched an interview with him. It was with Petey or Pizzi or something like that.
Pizzi Carroll.
Yeah, he was saying like where I come from, dude. Like at the end of the fight, if you get knocked fuck unconscious, like he could have pissed on me. And I was like, honestly, dude, like yeah, if you get caught in the street, there's worse things that could happen to you. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like yeah, we had high emotions after the fight. I decided to say my choice words at him, but it's like if you get got, you get got, and you just got to take the consequences when it comes.
Since that fight, he has won once. It was against Aaron Jeffrey. You say you're not really quite certain about his path to getting back here, but you're happy to do the fight again. Was there anyone else that you were more interested in or that you had your sights set on before this was officially offered?
Not really, because I was hoping maybe Aaron would have got a win. I'm not hoping, but like it would have been somebody new, so it would have been more intriguing. But him and then Costello is another guy, Vanstinas. He's I think he's the next guy in line after Fabian on the Bellator side. But then there's other matchups that you can make up, like a rematch with Impa and then like a Derek Brunson match. That'd be great.
We're approaching 1 year since the purchase or the acquisition of Bellator by PFL. How would you describe it now? How has it gone for you?
You know, it's going good. I'm getting paid well. I'm fighting twice a year. Nothing major has been taken away from me. I would just say definitely not smooth transition because, I mean, they're taking on a whole nother organization, and that takes time and it takes effort. And for you to turn that into a fine-tuned machine, it's going to take a little bit of time. And, you know, there's some bumpy patches in the road, but we're getting through them.
Do you feel like you are being challenged? Do you feel like there's motivation in the opponents, or is the challenge coming just from yourself?
I think a little bit of both. You know, it's challenging to rematch somebody. You know, that's a challenge in itself. And I think they're making challenges like by making a super fight with Impa. You know, they're creating them however they can with the staff that they have or with the fighters that they have. And at the end of the day, I'm also challenging myself every single day. Like, for instance, this fight camp, I sparred 120 rounds, and I had 2 sparring partners each time. Like, I would do 3 rounds with one guy and 2 rounds with the other. And it's like, I made that part of myself. You know, I don't have to do that, but I choose to do that because I think that's how you press to the next level.
Were any of those rounds with Sean Strickland?
No, because I have to fight a southpaw, so Sean doesn't go southpaws. But I helped Sean a bit for his. Was it? Yeah. I mean, I went out to his fight when he fought. I'm blanking on his name.
Paulo Costa.
Paulo Costa. That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I trained a little bit with him before that fight as well. But yeah, man. After that, though, I had to, stay focused on Fabian because I knew that was an upcoming fight, and I had to just really focus on fighting southpaws.
I've heard Eric Nixick say that you do a great job of emulating DDP, Dricus du Plessis, in helping him get ready for the fight and all that, and they'll fight again next year. What is it like when you do go, full on with Sean Strickland?
Dude, it's great. It's like pay-per-view rounds for everybody that's watching. We're both getting better. And yeah, man, it's the challenge. It's like every time we spar, we change our style a little bit, and it's like it's like a chess match each and every time. And it's great too, because I get to train with all the guys at Extreme, and I get different looks, and I get to pick Eric Nixick's brain a little bit. So training out with them, dude, it's always a good time.
I remember, I think it was prior to the first Fabian fight, maybe the February fight, when you were doing the whole social media thing with the skits and all that. And now you're just like a countryman. Now you're living in a van down by you've gone complete 180. So where do you actually live? Like, where's your home these days?
Well, I have a few homes, but I rent out. I have like 3 rentals. I have a house in Coral Springs. It's right next to the gym. I have a camper van that I take out, and wherever I want to go, I can take that thing and live out of it, dude. I lived out of that thing for about a month with my girl and our dogs, and it's great. Yeah, dude, I think I was trying to lean into the whole social media thing, but then I realized like how much effort it takes and like how you have to be on top of it and how much I was on my phone. I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not me. I think, I'm just going to get off social media, because I've been contemplating doing that. But the only thing that was keeping me on was fighting, because the more you can promote yourself on social media, the more people are going to tune into your fight. But at the end of the day, dude, I think I'm putting all my marbles on being the best fighter and having that bring the eyes.
So are you off? Are you off social?
Yeah, I mean, I have a separate phone where I get on my socials just so I can make posts.
Wow.
And get off. Yeah, I don't really scroll. The only thing I do scroll on sometimes is X, because I want to get some information and news.
Okay, because I was going to ask you. We did have on Monday's program Sean O'Malley. We were talking about some of the blowback that he received, and he's like, "Yeah, Johnny Eblen came out of nowhere and hit me." I'm like, "I don't even have any beef with Johnny. I have no history with Johnny Eblen." He said that.
What did I say? He said that.
He said, I think, if my memory serves me correct, and guys, check me if I'm wrong here, I think he was talking about saying that he beat Merab and that you weighed in, and he was like, "Where's this coming from?"
He didn't beat Merab, bro.
Did you weigh in? Did you weigh in though?
Did I wait? What do you mean? Yeah, I waited. I think I said something on X.
Okay.
I think I definitely said something. Okay. I think I remember that. So that's funny. I didn't know he commented about that. That's funny.
You don't think there's a chance? He maintains he won. I think it was 1-5 and one of the middle rounds. I don't want to misquote him. No?
I think he's reaching.
He's reaching.
This is O'Malley right now. Reaching. But honestly, I like O'Malley. I like his style. I think he can adapt to make Merab adapt. I think, I want to see that fight again in the near future. But I also want to see Merab and Umar.
Merab and Umar would be tremendous. The quote, the tweet from you was, "So this is what it's like when you have a bunch of yes men around you." Right?
I remember this now.
Yes.
Honestly, bro, when you have a bunch of people, because if you're like, "Oh, dude, I won that," you got to have a guy that's like, "Yeah, bro, you didn't. Like, you lost." But I think the guys around him, are agreeing. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. But that's just how I am. Outsider looking in. No hate towards Sean. No hate towards him. I mean, he's built a great platform for himself. Probably making a ton of money, so good for him.
If you were in a position like that and said, "Nah, guys, I won 135," do you think Mako and Mike Brown and Dustin Poirier would say, "No, you didn't"?
If I truly lost, they would be like, "You lost." I think they would tell me the truth.
Okay.
Like the guys I have around me are pretty objective.
This thread, by the way, is quite juicy, because the first reply under is from Derek Brunson, who says, "Sign the contract." And then you reply to him, "What contract? I'm fighting on October." That's actually a big pet peeve of mine when people say sign the contract when there is no contract. What is that? And so what is he talking about?
Contract. No clue. I think he's just trying to kind of put his name in the hat for the next fight. Because I think they're going to try to do another collaborative card with PFL and Bellator. So I think he's just trying to stir up some BS to, make him a likely candidate.
Are you interested in that next?
Sure. If we can make it happen for Impa, I would like to rematch Impa.
Okay. That's what you want next?
Yeah. I don't know I don't know. Depends on what they set up for me. But right now I'm focused on Fabian.
Sure.
Whatever happens next, happens next. Yeah.
By the way, Impa at 205 or 185?
85.
Okay. You're not interested in 205.
Not really. If I'm gonna go up to 205, I'm gonna fight for a belt, and I'm gonna fight like Corey Anderson. Like that would make sense.
Right.
Go up to 205, fight for another belt in Bellator.
Any chance of you being in a tournament next year for PFL if all goes well here? Has that been discussed?
If they pay me what I'm getting paid per fight, and they want me to fight 4 times for the year, I mean, I'm not going to be upset. I'd be multimillionaire by the end of it. So, I mean, if they want to do that, just got to make sure they don't change my contract up.
Sure.
And we keep it the same. And, we got to make sure we would have to renegotiate some stuff, I think.
Has that been discussed or even brought up in any way, shape, or form?
No, I remember that they were bringing up a tournament. They were going to start like a middleweight division or maybe a bantamweight division in 2025, but I haven't heard anything since then.
Okay. First time we see an Edwards brother fight. Obviously, since Leon lost the belt back in July, do you think about it? Like, do you feel like they're wounded animals? Do you think they'll be extra motivated? Does one have anything to do with the other, or is that just a talking point that media people talk about?
No, I don't think they necessarily have anything to do with each other. If anything, it just the media coverage won't be as heavy because his brother is no longer a champion. I don't know. Maybe morale's down at their gym. I don't know. Maybe it's boosted their morale to like train harder. Who knows, dude? A lot of people like respond to stress and adversity different ways. So I couldn't tell you unless I was there. But for a fact, I don't think the media is going to be covering it as hard.
How do you feel about the coverage for this big pay-per-view? Biggest card of the year for Bellator, no doubt about it. I did hear Eric Nixick say he felt the Francis fight wasn't being promoted enough. We had Kayla on yesterday saying, she didn't hear much about the Cyborg Pacheco fight. You're in one of the biggest fights on the card. Do you feel like it's being promoted as a big deal?
I think they're trying their best with the capabilities that they have. I mean, from what I've seen when I'm like barely on social media, they're making me, they're posting about me, they're posting about the fight, the Battle of the Giants, and they're doing everything they can, I think. And it is what it is. Some people have more reach than others, and maybe that's the issue.
Okay. By the way, we're doing a Helwani vision for this card. Have you heard about this?
What? A Helwani what?
Yes. Are you a football fan? Do you ever watch Manning Cast?
Yeah. I like football. Yeah.
You ever see the Manning Cast with the Manning brothers, Eli and Peyton, and then you can watch the game and they're on the side and they have guests? Have you ever seen that on ESPN on Monday Night Football?
I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen that though.
People do watch parties and stuff, but for us, we're doing Helwani Vision on Saturday for your card. If you buy the pay-per-view on DAZN at 4 o'clock Eastern time, when the main card starts, you can either choose the official broadcast or we're going to be broadcast here and you'll get the fights in the middle and me and Chael Sonnen and Megan Anderson and Tyron Woodley, they're going to join us and we're going to get to talk just kind of freely, openly in this setting about the fight. So you can choose the alternate commentary feed or the actual official one. That's pretty damn cool, right? That's big time.
That's actually really, really cool. I'm glad that you're doing that because it's giving people an alternate view of how to look at the fights, because I think sometimes people get bored and they want something new. And I think that's actually really, really cool. That's really valuable. Hopefully you keep doing that. And I hope a lot of people tune in, man.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that. From your lips to the God's ears of MMA. Great stuff, Johnny. Good luck to you. Final prediction. Let's hear it. What do you think? It's tough to top that finish. That was a great finish, but it got a little dicey on the way to the finish. So what are we thinking? What are we feeling?
I'm thinking total domination, whether it's in the first round or the 5th round. I think I'm gonna show my whole card or my whole hand this time, and I'm gonna put it on them, man. I'm gonna be violent, whether it's a submission or a knockout or we go all 5. It's gonna be a fun fight.
Love it. Can't wait. Thank you as always for the time, Johnny. Good luck to you on Saturday. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Ariel.
There he is, Johnny Eblen, reigning defending Bellator middleweight champion. Let's see that poster. It's a nice looking poster. Yeah, there it is. Against Leon's brother, Fabian Edwards, this Saturday on DAZN pay-per-view. You can get that worldwide, by the way, no matter where you are in the world. Who is the favorite going into that fight? I'm assuming it is Johnny, right? He got the win. He's the champ.
Yeah, he's a massive favorite.
Massive, huh?
Yeah, minus 500 or something last time I checked.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I can tell you the exact right now. People betting on Fabian though. Minus 400 now for Johnny Eblen. Plus 300 Fabian Edwards coming back.
Is there any? I think one of the sites has like the history. Like I wonder,
Johnny opened at a minus 650.
No, but like first time.
Oh, first time?
Yeah. What do you think it was? You think it was bigger first time?
I know he was a favorite, but I can tell you right now. Yep, here we are on me. Well,
yeah, this is you. All eyes on you.
Just Googling this.
I think
through it.
I think he was. Oh, there he is.
Minus 550.
Oh, so it's kind of the same.
Pretty close. I wonder if people are betting on Fabian this time because of the cut.
It's kind of crazy that it's that far out as far as I'm concerned, because if you remember the first fight, there was a situation where Johnny kind of had to finish Fabian. His eye was in rag order. Like people were taking a very close look. He had a lot of people, like his head was coming out of his face. And that's why I was so impressed by Johnny that night, because it was similar to the Kasanganay fight where you're like, wow, is this one getting away from Johnny? But I felt on a much more extreme level because he's not playing against time. He's playing against the doctors. And he went in and he did what he did with to Fabian. And tune into the Crack on Friday to hear Dan Hardy's breakdown of how he actually did that. Very interesting stuff.
Interesting. Have you had a chance to talk to Fabian before this fight, PT?
Yeah, they were initially booked and they swapped the date.
Oof, look at that cut. Jesus.
Yeah, like people are underestimating how bad that cut was.
I mean, it's a crater in his head.
He was told in his corner, like, you better go out and finish this, and he did it. And I think that was the outpouring of emotion we saw from him as well, like just complete adrenaline. To watch that in person was something to behold, honestly. Like, that was incredible. And I think Eblen doesn't get enough credit for doing what he did in that fight and then against Kasanganay. People were like, oh, this fight is so boring. Like, he wrestled victory from the jaws of defeat 2 times. Absolutely incredible, Will.
Do you think, or do you get the sense that what happened to Leon is on Fabian's mind, or it's the extra motivation thing that I was talking about? Do you get that vibe from Fabian PT?
I don't get that. Like, I don't think they... Here's the funny thing about the Edwards brothers. They take things personally for each other. I don't think they take defeat personally, but they take personal slights very badly. So when you had Eblen coming at Fabian in that situation after he's finished him, as he said, he dropped the P word, Leon got in the cage. And there's this whole situation with Leon and Eblen. And it kind of works the same way. Like when they had the incident with Jorge Masvidal, the most furious person there was Fabian. Right. Like it's 2 brothers.
Yeah.
A very interesting story. But in terms of that, and I know Bilal doesn't want anyone talking about this, but when they talk about
be careful.
I know. I mean, but when they talk about that camp, they're obviously talking about the time thing an awful lot. And he's right. Like, I was there. The Bilal was spectacular. Like, he did an amazing job on Leon. We haven't seen anyone treat Leon like that. But as far as they were concerned, and yes, he did get in the sleep coach, which Tom Aspinall borrowed the information for, as far as I remember. But it was a weird atmosphere. I think Bilal would even speak to that in that arena. And obviously, he's the guy coming in taking on the hometown dude. Not hometown, but he's the home guy, right? It's in the UK. That's where Leon lives. After Bilal took him down, it was like the lungs of the arena had emptied. Like, it was like they got their last gasp of emotion out for Tom and Paddy, and there was lulls before that as well. And then it was like a crash, during that main event. Even when I saw Leon walking out, it was a bit weird that night. But I think it was just an extremely, extremely strange event. Like, you heard Tom talking about it. He doesn't want to compete at that time again. I doubt Bilal wants to compete at that time again,
no
if I'm
one
being
does.
honest too.
But I always maintained that it was better for the American fighters because you could just stay on American time zone because the fight was being geared towards Americans back home, right? If you're fighting at 5 a.m. in the UK, it's 12 a.m. here, which is typically when a main event happens. The notion that, and we're going down this path, and this is your fault, PT. He's gonna fire up the podcast in front of the loyal 100 viewers that they have, and he's gonna go and kill me again. It's gonna be a huge problem. In any event, he's saying that you can't even bring this up as a talking point because look how good Tom Aspinall did, and look how good Paddy Pimblett did. Well, not everyone reacts to things the same way. You can stay up for 72 hours in Vegas and not go to bed and have a boatload of Guinness, and I need my beauty sleep. We're all different human beings. And so to say that Leon wasn't quite on his A game, it could have been he had bad food the night before. It could have been he was tired. It could have been a whole host of things. But that's my feeling when watching that fight. That's not a knock. I just don't feel like he was at his best. And the first thing that comes to mind is this fight was happening in the middle of the night or supremely early where he resides. Yeah, and obviously Tom has a story about like getting all this cycle together, right? Like working so hard to start. As the fight got closer, he was sleeping later. He was waking up earlier, all this kind of stuff. But then the night before the fight, his body just decided, I'm not doing that. And so he's just up the whole day before he goes into fight. Curtis Blades, a fight that was tremendously traumatic to him, given to what happened in the first fight. But I honestly, to get back to the main point, why'd you take me down this path? This is all your fault, by the way. I'm going to get killed now. Well, it was because of the Leon Fabian thing.
Like you're genuinely furious with me.
I'm trying to move on.
Get a phone call after this. It's going to be mental.
It's tough. It is tough. It is tough.
Yeah. But honestly, I think in the same way as Leon put everything to the side with Colby, that's what Fabian's doing with this. He's like, I'm not letting this play into my preparation. I'm not G'ing myself up for this big confrontation with my blood rival. Like, I'm going in here and I'm treating this like a fight. I thought he did an exceptional job in the first couple of rounds of that fight. It shocked an awful lot of people how well he was doing against Eblen early. But again, Eblen has that extra gear he can find. If you can deal with that, you have a very good chance against him. I'm actually shocked at that line that GC brought up earlier.
All right, more to come. We still have some other questions to answer, but for now, final guest of the day, and what a performance on Saturday. Obviously, in the world of combat sports on Saturday, a ton of attention on the card in Riyadh, the boxing card, but if you clicked over to ESPN Plus, you saw one of the best fights of the year in the main event, a tremendous flyweight fight, a tremendous back and forth battle between Tatsuro Taira, who was on some kind of role in the UFC, going up against former title contender Brandon Royval, and in the end, it was Royval who came out on top, and in the end, it was a hard-fought, well-earned victory. And again, I loved his post-fight interview because of the honesty and the praise that he threw upon Tatsuro Taira. Raw Dog himself, who has been mentioned on today's program several times, kind enough to join us. Thank you so much for the time, Brandon. Congratulations on the win. Man, the fight was great. The performance was great. But really, I really did enjoy how compassionate and how honest you were in the post-fight, because usually people afterwards come on and say, oh, I'm the man, this and that. Like, all you wanted to do was throw praise Tyra's way. Why did you feel the need to do that in that moment?
I honestly have no clue. I feel like that just kind of like hit me. But I got to train with him a little bit, and it was just one of the probably few fights in the division I didn't want to take.
Wow.
It's a lot easier facing someone that you don't really know or care about or have any of those. But it's I run into this kid a fair amount in Colorado, and probably the nicest human being you'll ever meet. I 100% thought this fight was not going to be that close at all. I thought it was going to be pure destruction. But man, fighting and training are two different things. We've always said that. I've always known that, and it was definitely one of those I don't know. It was a humbling experience. It was and it was just I really do just want that kid to do good, man. I really do want that.
If you thought it was going to be a destruction, why did you not want the fight?
Just because there's people I want to punch in the face.
Okay.
In my division, there's people I want to punch in the face.
You actually like them.
There's plenty of people I don't like.
Right.
It's as far as people you like, you want to see them do well, and it's yeah. There's people that you want to see do well, and that was one of the people where I'm I didn't expect for me and him to align up this quickly. The fact that we have is dope, but I don't know. I feel like both of our stock rose that day, and I think that was the coolest part about both of it.
I would agree. What surprised you most about him?
His how strong he was on the back.
Wow.
Yeah, because I knew his back control would probably be good, but how strong he wasn't crazy to me. The second round, maybe 2 minutes in, I was like, oh, that's a different feeling. There's only been maybe a handful of people maybe around my size. Bigger dudes could do stuff like that, but a couple of people my size, there's one other person I could think of that could just flattened me out like that. And I was like, yeah, it was mind blowing. So super humbling, super eye opening, and yeah, that was cool.
Are you happy? I mean, obviously you're happy you got the win. It was a great fight. It's being called one of the best fights of the year. But is there a part of you that is disappointed that it was such a back and forth fight and that it did go the distance and that it was at times close?
No, not at all. Not at all, man. I feel like these experiences, these 5-round experiences, if I ever want to fight Pantoja again, having another back rider and having that experience is super good, especially in like these 5-round scenarios. And it just proves too, is like, and that's what I want the Apex card, or like I want to be on a main event of a fight night specifically because I think I'm one of the best in the world when it comes to 5 rounds. I think in a 5-round fight, I'm not getting beaten. And I've been saying that for years, but now I get it kind of proven.
Mm-hmm. And so here we are, big win. You get on the microphone, like I said, you throw this praise. I'm just wondering, did you get a chance to talk to him afterwards? How was he handling everything? And will you, in fact, look to train with him in the future again?
Yeah, he'll be in Colorado, man. We're gonna cross paths a dozen times over. So yeah, we're gonna go we're gonna run like into each other fairly often. I bounce around Colorado like gyms kind of a lot, so I run into like anybody that's in Denver, I'm gonna run across them eventually, you know. So yeah, for sure, that's gonna happen.
What is in fact going on with the training situation in Colorado? Can you tell us about this?
I mean, I feel like as far as like other gyms go, as of right now, I feel like there's a lot of craziness going on. But as far as like what we're doing and my team right now, the Raw Doggers is what we call ourselves at this moment.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Brandon Royval, the Raw Doggers. We have like I'm a front person, like the lead singer, and then like Prince of the Revolution.
Okay, so who makes up the Raw Doggers?
Dang, I'm really happy that's what you said that. It just depends on who's fighting the week is who makes up the name. But we've had a really good week. It's Alex Hernandez, Clay Mata's our head coach. Rafa's one of our coaches, and Luis Groulet, who's seen just get signed to the UFC yesterday. So
oh wow,
we're a real small team. We're a real like tight knit, and we definitely bring people in and have people kind of come help us out along the way. But that being said, is just we have very detail-oriented practices and really small time as of right now. And it's been cool, man. I've been separated from the gym I was formerly at for probably like 4 months now. And these 4 months, I'm just training with my best friends and having the time of my life, man. And we all just caught dubs within the last 2 weeks of each other.
And you're referring to Factory X, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell us what happened there?
Man, I think it was just a long story. Just a long story, and just kind of just needed to change the sceneries with the people that were doing right by, like, not right by me, but I would just say the people that were doing the work for me. Is the coach that I have was my head coach for the last maybe 3 years, and just writing game plans out for me, writing a schedule out for me, like, oh, we need to do this, we need to work on this day, we need to work on this day. And I finally just get to pay him a good amount of money, and I feel like with that bonus, and that was my goal, is the bonus, and within the last 2 weeks, the right person made a good amount of money for the first time of his life, and that was really cool. It was really cool to cut a check to him. I've never been so satisfied cutting a check in my life. That's for sure.
And who is that?
His name's Clay Mata.
Okay, amazing, and congrats to him as well. And it was interesting because earlier in the day, Dana White actually announced the next flyweight title fight. So the timing was kind of interesting. Some thought that if Tatsuro Taira would have won, he would have been next. But in fact, it was Kaya Sakura who's making his promotional debut. It will be against Alexandre Pantoja on December 7th. What was your reaction? Did you even know about that? Did you hear about that? And
no, I knew about that a long time ago.
Okay, so you were not. It didn't, like, the timing didn't throw you off or anything like that.
Yeah, and then it just gave me a way to aim, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted. I wanted a direction to go, because I'm like, fuck, I'm about to call out 3-4 different other people. But now that it's like, okay, there's a title shot. Okay, I got the winner. And it's like, I think if the winner, whoever the winner is, there are certain advantages either way. It's just like, I could go fight in Brazil or I could go fight in Japan. And I think if Asakura wins, a fight in Japan would be almost a mandatory, I think.
Yeah, that would be incredible, and a long time coming. How do you feel about someone getting a title shot in their UFC debut?
I personally don't care because I need a shakeup in the division.
Yeah.
I'm running through everybody behind me. The whole top 5, I have pretty much a W over. And that goes as far as the whole top 10 is like, I'm recycling top 5 people. I'm about to be recycling top 5 people at this point, and it's like I need someone to shake up the division, and Kai Asakura could be that guy, man. If he could catch a W, then I'm getting the next title shot almost guaranteed in my head.
Yesterday, after Contender Series, I believe Dana White pretty much insinuated that you are next. Have you seen these comments, and is this the same that you have heard internally?
Never heard anything internally, but I got tagged in a few things saying something like that, but I didn't go back and watch the interview.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't really see how I would not be. Like I said, I have a win over the whole top 5 of the division right now, so it's like, who else is there right now? So I knew I've been putting them in really rough positions by keep winning fights and they keep taking out like their money makers with Moreno, and then Tatsuro, who's is a future star, and in Japan I'm sure he already is a star. So it's like my goal is to make the matchmaker's job hard, and I've been very much probably causing them headaches, but I'm still here, man, and I'm still showing my worth. And like I said, I shouldn't be a plus 300 against any motherfucker in this division.
Do you think they wanted him to win?
I mean, I don't think they wanted to, but I think it'd be more beneficial for the UFC, if I'm being honest.
By the way, I don't look at the lines all the time. We've got an expert in the back GC who does that. Were you a plus 300?
I was a plus 300
Wow.
walking into the fight. I was like, what the fuck? Bro, yeah. Bro, hey, second and fourth round, I was like, God damn it, I shouldn't have told all my friends to bet on me.
Man.
Yeah.
So you actually knew this before and used it as motivation. Annoyed you.
Yeah, I had a big old and then also it's just like that's also like why my coach was like, I wanted the Albazi fight bad, and it's like I knew I had to wait a couple extra months if I was going to get that, but my coach was like, no, let's take the Taira fight because he has all this hype around him, man. He has all this hype, all this 16-0. There's a lot of hype that comes with everything he's doing right now, and with all that hype, then I end up plus 300. So it's like I can't be wanting a guy with a bunch of hype and then be pissed about the plus 300 thing too. So, but it's also just motivation that I was pissed about it. I ain't gonna lie.
What if they do in fact offer you Albazi next? What do you say?
Whoever I want to clear out the whole division. If they're not gonna give me a title shot, then whoever they give me is like whoever I haven't fought, whoever's in my way, I'm gonna take out. And that's literally just my mind state is just, I'm going to take out anybody in the way and give them no doubt and no other explanation of who needs the title shot next. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job at that already. I fought Moreno on a month's notice, tore my MCL the first round. Tatsuro Taira, 16-0, I just handed him his first loss. But if anybody else, man, they feel they want to throw in at me, I'll go take him out.
By the way, who do you think wins? Asakura or Pantoja?
I don't know, man. If Pantoja gets him to the ground, it's over. But that being said, Asakura is scary to get to the ground. Like the fight stands, like it starts striking, and I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm hoping, man. I like Pantoja a lot as a person, so I just want him to be. I want the best from at all times. But Asakura, if he wins, I'm pretty sure I'm getting the title shot next. So I kind of need him, You
don't think they would rematch them?
Rematch.
If Asakura wins, say, okay, Pantoja, you were a champ for over a year. Sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. There's no real rhyme.
I don't think they will.
No, okay.
I don't think they would. Yeah, and to be fair, I think if Asakura wins, it'd be brutally.
Okay, wow. Interesting. By the way, recently I saw an interview. You spoke to Sportskeeda and you talked about wanting to build in a quote-unquote poor neighborhood somewhere in Denver. You said a safe place for young boys and girls to go hang out, not just a gym necessarily, but like a youth center. This is one of your dreams. How far along? Is this just a dream right now, or are you actually actively trying to?
I have a spot that I'm going to try to buy right now, and that's actually the next goal. Is now that we just got into Colorado like less than like an hour ago. And that's the goal this week is just to try to get rights to this building and try to get a couple grants along the way. But that being said, if if I don't get any grants for this, or if this isn't anything, this is 100% a hill I'll die on, and 100% a hill that I don't mind going broke on. And so, yeah, I'm going all in on this. I have a spot picked out, West Denver, right off of it's right in the center of the importance of this building is the building has three, it's upstairs that's separate and like huge. It's huge. And then a downstairs where there's two separate rooms. And it's like, I could have a spot where gyms ran out of. I could have a spot where homework's done. I have a spot for maybe a barber shop, and then just a spot to hang out. And I really want just an all around place where you could just spend all day, Boys and Girls Club here in Colorado, they open late, and they you have to leave at 7:00. So it's they start at 4 and then you leave at 7, which is they're doing good things. But that being said is bro, I was getting in trouble at 9 a.m. early, I was doing dumb shit at 9 a.m. So I already know, I just want to be preventing a lot of stuff and preventing a lot of craziness. And the spot that I have picked out is right in the hub of, it's a little industrialized, which I don't like, but it's a mile away from every major project area I want to hit. And 2 miles away being the furthest one. So there's easy access to it. And that's really what I want the most.
Much respect, man. You also said computer labs, game room, everything's kids can need. I want to provide for the youth in Denver because there's a lot going on, shootings and teenagers going at each other. I can relate, so I want to do something. And you just said that's something that you're willing to go broke. You are willing to put your own money into something like this to build it for the kids. Is it because it hits so close to home and you don't want kids to have the same experiences that you had?
And I guess not to go into too much detail, but I would just say two of the closest people to me, one of my best friends and then my brother, we all got into mixed martial arts around the same time. We all mixed martial arts was our life, and we would go wake up, I would have them watching Shy. We'd that's important about the whole Japan thing too, is on summer nights we would spend up all night, stay up all night watching Pride, all those. So it's just I feel if we had a good way to kind of aim some of that, or if they had a good way to kind of aim their energy and all that stuff, it could have prevented a lot of things along the way,
Mm-hmm. And your brother and your friend, where are they now?
They are both locked up. They're both incarcerated right now.
Okay. Are you able to communicate with them? Are they aware of what you're doing?
No, I don't tell them anything like that. My brother knows, but my other friend is locked up in LA right now, so he's not in a way where we could really communicate often.
Damn. And how long has that been?
He's been in for at least 2 years, so probably right after the Kai Kara France fight, so 2 years.
Okay.
And he'll be in there for a long ass time.
And your bro?
And my brother's probably he's in and out. He'll be in and out. So.
Okay. Is there a chance for with a project like this of getting him on the path that you're on the right path?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's something that he mentioned to me, or he's mentioned to the people that he communicates with often, is that something that he wants to kind of get on. But it's my priority is the youth around Denver. I will not have anybody on that's a liability, and I wouldn't have anybody on that will ruin my vision. So he needs to be in a good way before that's even an option in my head. I wouldn't bring him. He's not coming in fresh out of jail.
I get it 100%. And by the way, realistically, when can this be open to the public?
I have no clue. I'm hoping within as soon as possible.
Okay.
And that was the thing too, is this fight, I had it all kind of planned out and it was all going smoothly. And then I get booked this fight, I leave the gym, and then it's okay, well, I'm training all around Colorado right now. So I have zero time to put effort into this, to put anything into it. And none of this even matters, or none of this is even possible if I lose this fight. If I lose this fight, the money is significantly less, and the notoriety is significantly less. So I need a name, I need a little bit of a name, and that will help me get a little bit of help from the outside world. But I need income too. So it's the precedent is making money right now, because that's what's going to get this started.
Much respect, man. That's incredible, and good luck, obviously, and your heart seems to be in the right place, and you're on a roll right now. And you've got a platform that's only going to get bigger, obviously, if you get the title shot and if all goes well there. So wish you the best. Congratulations. I know you just got home, as you said, so thanks for jumping on. I'm sure you're a little bit tired. Really, really appreciate it. Again, congrats on a great fight. And I loved the post-fight interview. There was just something so, honestly, dare I say, raw about it. And it was really well done.
I feel like I get really emotional after my fights, so it's all pretty organic. And sometimes it's the worst thing that I could say, and sometimes it's a really good thing. And I'm really glad that I could give Tatsuro his flowers, which I think he really deserved.
As do you. Well done. Thanks, Brandon. All the best.
All right. Thank you for your time, bro. Have a good day.
You too. There he is, Brandon Royval, an easy guy to root for. Great stuff. And certainly wish him the best when it comes to his plans to help the youth in Denver. Need a lot more guys like that. All right, let's finish up with some more questions, and we will keep things going. There was someone named Trin who asked GC about the bets plans, and we answered that. Frank, he has a question for you.
Oh, really?
How does it feel to have merch?
It feels great.
Did you get yours yet?
I didn't. In fact, I about 20 minutes ago was going to send an email off because I'd really like to have it.
You were going to send an email 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And that's, if my math is correct, actually during the show.
Yeah, that's how
Who
important
do
it
you
is to
email
me.
in that situation? Does that go to directly to you, Ariel?
No, I got a guy. I got my guy Brandon.
I received mine.
Not the same Brandon, by the way. He's the best. I don't know what's going on. There has been some talk about potentially you not checking out because you said you didn't get a confirmation.
I'm going to completely own up to that. That maybe I.
But you never.
Yeah, so Frank's
actually
emailing people
order?
about merch he didn't get because he didn't
Well,
check
I
out.
need them
This
to
sound- this
verify.
tracks.
Look, when I have the merch, you'll know.
Okay.
But I'm also sweating it because a lot of it's sold out now. So like,
Is it
I
selling
might,
out?
Yeah, I, might
I
have
mean, we're
missed my
killing it. We're killing it. No, listen, we had grand plans for merch, and we're here.
This is a good segue. We've got an update on the power rankings from my dad.
Oh wow.
Oh geez. Okay.
No, we don't need to hear that.
up.
We don't need to hear that.
No.
We don't.
It's the real news.
Here we go. From my father. You want me to read this out? Let's see. If you can let Mysterious Frank know not to be jealous of my compliment of Carol. He's going by last
That's
name
amazing.
now. Joining
I
the
like
team.
that. I like that.
Mysterious Frank is fantastic in that his personality comes through to the fans only using audio. So Frank, even just with audio, you're
wow.
conveying it. My dad's a big fan.
Your dad is the dad I never had.
Also, I mean, you're welcome to him. He's everybody's dad.
Wow.
I'm glad to see GC live in the studio. So GC, he's happy you're back here with us.
Right. I mean, Frank's fantastic. His personality comes through to the audio.
Oh,
waves.
I've shared
It's
the
really
text.
just my location.
No.
He's
Not
happy
true.
with my location.
I've shared the
You have to walk
text.
before you run.
No. Also, I have to compliment Mr. Jackman on that one because just completely ducked the actual power rankings.
Yes,
Just complimented
savvy,
us
right?
all.
Savvy
That was
veteran.
That was a
It's
veteran
Just a
implied.
classy,
It's implied.
classy message. A classy message. I
What
thought
was
that
implied,
was. You know.
Frank?
It's
Because
implied that I'm
technically
on
Carol
top.
went first.
I don't.
Then Mysterious
he was
Frank.
He's the
Carol
new
number
kid on
one.
the block. so it
Boys.
feels
I don't want this to become a thing. Let's just, my
Carol is
dad
one.
loves us all. It's okay.
Who the fuck is
Who
we?
was, who was the first person mentioned in the text? It was Carol.
It was
Let's be
technically
honest.
It was actually
Mysterious
Frank.
Frank.
It was
Alpha
Frank,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
He was just
you were-
saying not to worry.
Pizzi got his own text this morning, so I think that says enough.
Carol, please.
Hello,
I really
Mr.
like this Carol. That's gonna stick.
Mr. Jackman. We appreciate your love. I actually thought you were about to plug the merch site because we haven't done that yet. We plugged a lot of things, but that was way better.
Forget that.
Can I ask one thing about
ArielHelwani.com,
the-
by the way. ArielHelwani.com is where you get all the merch. We've got a ton of shirts. We've got some cups. We've got some mugs and things. I don't know what they're called. Thermoses. Not this one. I should probably use the
water
one.
bottles?
That would
That's
make a lot of
listed on
sense.
the website.
Yeah, water
Did the
bottles.
boys legit get a code? Yeah, because that's been
You
playing
all
on my
got
mind.
a code. You all
Yeah,
got a
Oh,
code.
I got a
did.
code,
Where
but
was the code?
I paid
Where was the
myself.
code?
I pulled an Aspinall.
You know what? Class. I not
I
necessary.
didn't have the option. I paid
That's
without having
such
a code.
bullshit.
So I mean,
That's such-
different. situation.
ArielHelwani.com looking a lot better than it did this time last year.
Oh yes. yes. Let us never forget. Thank you to my friend Daniel Wolf for making that happen. Yes, check it out, ArielHelwani.com. Appreciate you all very much. It is great to see it up and running. We just had 2 new drops. I believe that's what the kids say, right? Drops?
Yeah, man.
What the fuck is that?
Juan Sanchez, hello, Ariel and crew. So happy to see you back in our life. I've got a question that relates to the new uncrowned era. Are you at all concerned about the massive influx of content that you are creating being, dare I say, too much for people to consume. You see, this is a thing. People are worried.
Time someone's going to that.
I can only say from my experience the past 2 days that I was only about halfway through Monday's content. When Tuesday's 4-hour show came out, I'm only about an hour in, and there's potentially 4 more hours, and then BITB, and then the crack. Not complaining, we are getting incredibly spoiled, but I just don't know when I'll be able to find the time to watch what I like to watch.
Are these the people who like, oh, there's too much cake here? It's like too much. Who are these
These are the
people?
who were saying,
who are these
it's
savages
an MMA
that?
hour, so why is it going for longer than an hour? These are the same people.
What are we eating over
More.
there, Frankie?
More cake, more
not eating
candy.
What are we chomping on?
Literally nothing.
The audio guys just giving us bad audio because
It
he's eating
sounded
over
like
there.
someone was in his mouth.
Should I just start like rubbing this?
Did you
straw?
sneak a licorice? You sneak one of my
Frank,
licorice?
how does this sound? You like that?
I will just say this. Watch whatever you want, consume what you want. We
Nope,
appreciate
disagree.
you all. We appreciate you all very much. I do take great joy in the people who are commenting and comparing our views and whatnot to established sites. Lest you forget, this channel was dormant for about 13 years before I recently resurrected it on a very sort of occasional basis. The fact that we are even sniffing the numbers that we are sniffing in the first 3 days has me over the moon. So whatever you are trying to do, the very, 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 very few of you out there, it ain't hitting. Sometimes it hits, it ain't hitting. I just want to let you know.
Give us a year and then we can talk.
Yeah, give us a year.
Give us a year.
Think
Give
about it.
us 2 weeks. We're rolling, man.
I'll
Let's
take
go.
a year.
Keep
I'll
going.
take a year. We can
Think
talk
about it like Cerrone's comeback. We went away, we got new hair.
That's right.
We took a lot of steroids, and now we're back, baby.
You would be said steroids, new beard and all.
He said steroids. Direct quote from the post.
Yes.
Thank you.
Jay Stu, hey Ariel and crew, congrats on everything. What were your thoughts on The Rock's return at Bad Blood? Do you think they'll do a triple threat match with The Rock versus Roman versus Cody? This is an amazing predicament that they're in. By the way, for all the people worried about the wrestling, very little wrestling in week 1, dare I say, right? I think this might be the first wrestling reference since we've been back. I might be wrong.
Oh, yeah!
There it
love
is,
that.
Frankie. There it is.
Good job,
I liked it. It was a surprise. It was fun. I don't think he'll be a constant. By the way, check out uncrown.com, wrestling section. New member of the team, Penn, not to be confused with Ken Shamrock. Great recap of Monday Night Raw. We'll also have a nice recap of AEW. We're very down the middle here, okay? No favorites. I don't know what they're going to do at WrestleMania. I really don't. I'm dying to see how it all plays out, and I'd like for us to all be there in Las Vegas in April because I think it's going to be an incredible show. WrestleMania 41, Allegiant Stadium. First time Vegas WrestleMania since WrestleMania 9 at
Couldn't tell you. Hit us.
Caesar's Palace.
No.
Oh.
Wow, that's very cool.
Outdoor show.
Yeah.
Nick Khan, current president of WWE, was an usher at that event. How about that?
Oh,
You don't get tidbits like that anywhere else.
I agree.
Who gives you this?
No one. No one in the biz.
Speaking of WWE, I think they're in Manchester right now.
England?
Is that true?
It's possible.
That's where Manchester is.
Well, there's a New Hampshire. There's a New Hampshire. Wow! What is that?
Cody Rhodes.
Right now?
Supposedly, shout out to Ben Rogerson for posting the picture.
Yo, this is amazing.
It's either right now or it's from Monday because he's wearing the shirt that he was wearing.
That
on the
is a
show
good
on
point.
Monday.
yeah.
Wow, Tommy, look at
Or
this.
he's just wearing that shirt around the clock. I mean, I would too if Dose Brock made me some gear.
What is this? What is this? When did this happen? It just
We
came through
gotta
the...
find out. We gotta find out.
I originally saw it tweeted by our guy ACD MMA, formerly
Should
out
we
of context MMA.
should we ask Tommy?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, he's in there. He's got the UFC belt. He's right next to Cody Rhodes. Supposedly cutting a promo on Gunther.
Wow.
Tommy, we're live on the show right now. You know this show. You have come on. You were one of our first ever guests, and I just saw a photo of you and Gunther in the ring in WWE. You didn't tell me about this. I'm supposed to be your mouthpiece. I'm supposed to be your wise man. Please give us the scoop. We're on the air for another 10 minutes. What's the story here? You versus Gunther, WrestleMania 41? Okay, let's see.
Wait, you recorded that video?
I thought you were on FaceTime. Wait,
Yeah,
did he answer
Wow.
that fast?
All right.
I'm recording it for him, and he's going to send us a video back.
Couldn't have just called him? I thought we were
In 10 minutes.
we were
we're
trying to
off
do
air.
it live. You,
Let's
you
see,
had us
let's-
all fooled here.
Let's see. He's,
On air for
Are you
another
gonna get
10
mad at him
minutes.
if he doesn't reply in 10
Aspinall's
minutes?
more on the GC side of things when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
let's
Might
see.
get
Let's
one
see.
tomorrow.
I just sent the video. It says online
I knew I loved him.
Let's see if we get the 2 blue checks. You know,
I mean, I think he pledges his allegiance to you, Pete, actually. So I think it might be you who gets.
You might get the reply
back.
first. All right, I got it open here. Let's see. He's
Call
on the
up Andy,
clock.
Pete,
Oh,
see where
blue
they're at.
check. Blue checks. Blue checks. He has seen it. Well, he's
Tell him
probably
to
watching it
call.
right now.
Yeah, tell him to call. We don't want this video message exchange thing.
Do you want me to ring Andy and ask him what the crack is?
Yeah. Dial up Andy, see what's going on.
Andy be on to me now.
Let's see. Okay. Anyway, Rock versus Roman versus Cody would be nice. I kind of feel like we need Rock versus Roman at some point. Cody versus who, though? Punk? We'll see. Josh Pav. What? Is this true? He just texted. I don't know if this is on? I need to call him. He just texted me something insane. And I'm calling him. Sorry. It's breaking news. Frank. Tom, you're live on the air. Where are you?
Look at this. 1 minute. Look at this.
Can I show? Oh, he's at the event right now. He's there. Tom, you versus Gunther? Is it happening?
1 sec. Say it again.
Are you fighting Gunther at Crown Jewel? Is this happening?
Yeah.
You're live on the air right now. Is this an exclusive for us? Pete wants to know if this is an exclusive. Are you fighting Gunther in 2 weeks at WWE Crown Jewel?
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe no.
Oh, maybe no too. Okay.
Possibility.
Well, I have to say, enjoy the matches. I have to say, I love the photo. And next time you do that, just please give me a heads up. I don't like to hear about it.
Randy Orton's in the ring. There he is. Come on, Randy.
I see it. Ah, great move there by Randy. Nice forearm.
That's genuine excitement right there.
He's loving it.
Let's leave that up. Let's just have Tom as the soundtrack.
Okay, bye, Tom.
What did he say? Go on, Randy?
Yeah, he said, "Go on, Randy." What a legend.
Go on, Randy.
So it's now. That
yeah,
picture's
he's
from
literally
right
there.
now.
I just saw it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
that's
And
very
breaking
funny.
news, too. Maybe Gunther.
Maybe not.
Super
Who knows?
fight.
What happens first? John Jones, Tom Aspinall, or Tom Aspinall, Gunther?
And put it on the chat. What happens first? Is it Gunther versus Aspinall, or Aspinall versus Jones, or even Aspinall versus Pereira, perhaps?
Or Aspinall versus Stipe. Don't sleep.
Wow. 4 choices. Quick ones from Josh Pav. GC, did you find a new apartment?
Yeah.
Imagine he did
Where
it.
did we think we were staying at?
I don't know.
And a new apartment has been found, yeah.
Frankie, more expansive soundboard? Question mark.
Yeah, it's got a lot of functions. A lot of features, I mean, that I haven't fully explored yet.
What a weird response. I'm looking at it. He's got like 50 buttons now compared to like 5 before. Just say yes.
What the fuck is that?
Rick,
Yes.
will you still be doing socials?
No, not at all. Thank God. I'm done. I'm free.
Free as a bird. Shout out to
I've
Kel
never
and
been
Spencer
happier.
holding it down.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. Great gig. Advanced my career. We have a great team doing it now, but I am happy to not be doing it anymore.
Pizzi, favorite part of your new role? Also, welcome to the team, he says.
The favorite part of my new role, just getting to spend more time with all you cool guys.
Wow.
Okay. My favorite part is when your mic doesn't work.
Listen, the computer's been hard to get used to.
Yeah.
Okay, see, most people would say the new computer. Me and the new computer are currently battling.
You would
every
think
day.
he would of anybody, he would be the one to have sympathy for this, but he's just throwing you right under the bus there.
Yeah, he likes to pretend that he's some technical whiz because he knows I'm not bad. Like compared to me, he's Frank. You know what I mean? That's the way. That's our relationship.
Window. Helwani, one high and one low from the last 3 months. That is a great question. Only highs. The Olympics were incredible. I'm nostalgic about the Olympics, and I was nostalgic like a week. Like there were moments where I was sitting there in Paris, and I was like, I can't believe I'm actually here. I'm watching Summer McIntosh win a gold medal for Canada and have an incredible Summer Games, and just getting to interview the 4x100 relay team. That was a huge honor. Moments after they won gold, like that was just unbelievable. And then really just seeing all of this come to fruition. And I would say the highest of them all is just seeing. It's so fun when you're in the trenches and everyone's working together, and we're all doing a little extra, and we're all doing more, and we're all kind of out of our comfort zones. And to see it all come to fruition together to the point where we're at on Monday, when this place was just an empty room 3 weeks ago, and now we're broadcasting to the world. What's better than that? He also adds, given your expanded resources, does that change the way you book guests? No.
Well, slightly for now, but maybe.
I paused, by the way, for the Conor McGregor no. That was the one. Also, this is from Adele. Since we've got a longer show now, are we going to get more segments like OTN and Parlay Boys? You know, we just kind of evolve. We evolve. So yes, they are all coming. David Velasquez, Ariel, first off, welcome back to you and the crew. I'm happy you guys are still together. Let's keep it that way. Now on to my question. One of the fights announced for 310 was Tatiana Suarez against Vierna Jandiroba. She's one of our own. My immediate reaction was, whatever happened to Tatiana getting a title shot? What do you think is the reason, Ariel? Is Zhang injured, visa issues, or maybe a potential super fight with Valentina in the works, as you have talked about constantly? I don't know, man. I was surprised too, if I'm being honest. Tatiana, I feel like when you think about a world where debutantes are getting title shots, I know Tatiana's been out. I know it's been a long road, but geez Louise, who would have minded if she didn't get a title shot like 2 fights ago? You know what I mean? But she's fighting Vierna 310. It's a great fight, and I'd love to see that, and I'd love to see Zhang versus Valentina. Cheeto Pancakes, what's up? Ariel, welcome back, El Nariz. Question regarding the decision to go Monday, Wednesday for the AH show. What was the main reason? I don't know. I had 2 before. Now I wanted 3. We continue to level up. Like I said, a lot of people go 5. And how will that affect booking? A lot of people are concerned about my life and my health.
I don't think you've talked about it enough.
Well, I'm answering questions. You think I talk about it too much?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, like, these people are checking in on the...
Oh, okay. I thought you were being...
But it's not true that there's no change. I feel like we're slowly getting into a newer place. You don't feel that?
I mean, as far as booking?
Not necessarily. Yeah, on the back end. On the back end, we're
everything is getting better. No, everything. I'm not worried at all.
We'll get there.
Have I complained?
No, I'm not talking about the complaining. I'm saying in the old era, these people are like, the booking thing has now become all they're asking about.
Yeah, no, 100%. By the way, I love the fact that people actually care about this. You know what I mean? Like they care so much about the process. Yeah.
You don't think that they're like casting doubt?
No.
Okay.
No,
typical.
hell no.
You love the booking.
I love the what?
You love the booking.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. Jesse, as you mentioned that you want to bring back journalism to the sport, which is awesome, will Uncrowned have a presence for on-site reporting? Of course. We have already had. Chuck Mindenhall was at the Sphere. As was I. But I was reporting.
That was a good article.
I'll be at UFC Apex 100.
That's right. Live. Rory, I may be looking into a cruise holiday for the fam and hoping NewYorkRic can update us on how his recent cruise experience was.
Cruises are not for me.
Okay. All right.
My wife didn't enjoy it as much as she thought, so I think we're good on those for a while. Just not for me. Not my thing.
Another question about the booking of the guests. I'm just not going to... I appreciate all of them, but it's probably boring for all of you. Nick, welcome back. I now know when Wednesday is again. On a scale of Robbie Lawler sleeping before a fight to screaming in Rory McDonald's bloody face, how excited are the boys for the penultimate tough champ fighting this weekend? And he tells me who it is. Do you guys know who it is? The penultimate... No, you can't look it up. Okay, I see you looking it up.
Stop. The penultimate means the one before the most recent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Say the question one more time.
Are you looking forward to the penultimate...
Oh, wait. Was that the season? So... Oh,
that was the Conor McGregor season, no?
Yeah, that was the Conor season.
That's my season.
So you should know this.
You should know
wasn't
this.
Wasn't that Brian Battle? Wasn't that the battle season?
No,
or
it wasn't
that's
Brian
two
Battle.
ago.
It was Brad Katona was the winner.
Oh,
and
look at you.
I mean, penultimate.
No, so isn't that it?
That's the answer.
Yeah.
It's Brad Katona.
Yeah, 2 seasons ago.
Good job, man.
Good job.
GC's
Good
getting
job,
very
GC.
stressed out there
Thanks,
for
everyone.
nailing the answer.
Did it.
I thought I was I thought I was gonna have to pull like a Cody Gibson or a.
No, you nailed it.
Oh, you were thinking of the runner-up from...
I'm not gonna lie, zoned out when Helwani originally asked the question. I didn't know what we were looking for. I heard tough and
ultimate.
You got it.
It's tough.
Yeah, the ultimate fighter though,
It's
Brad
tough.
Katona.
It's tough for tough is perfect.
Last one.
Brad Katona fights this weekend.
Apparently,
The
just
penultimate
Simon.
fighter would be a good series. Sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Ariel. First of all, congrats on the new show. But now that the name has changed, where's the MMA Hour belt?
Did you see it?
Where's
Oh
the
my
MMA
God.
Hour belt? It's right here, bitches. Still undisputed. Still undefeated. Still the fucking man. What do you think? You think I ain't have this belt? I walk around this damn office with this belt. What do you think? And this is always going to be by my side. Number 1, 14-time. You think you got rid of me? You think you got rid of this cancer? Just getting started. Bigger and better.
I'm alpha.
That's right, Rampage. That's right, Quentin. We still here. And now we got a whole fucking company backing us. Yeah.
Remind me to take that away from you tonight.
Thank you very much to everyone who sent in questions. We'll get to more of them all throughout our existence. Tomorrow, it's Boys in the Back. You guys can answer some of these as well if you'd like, if you are running out of things. Any quick plug? I've been plugging the shows the day before. You guys want to plug anything? What do we got?
We've got an exclusive interview
with
Oscar Willis.
We get to see Victor this past weekend. First round knockout of our guy Ben Davis.
Yeah.
And we are going to answer some questions, but I think we're going to go to the YouTube chat.
We're going chat.
I think
We're
going to
men
go to
of
the
people.
chat.
We're going to the chat. We're going to break down the PFL card. We're going to look to UFC Apex 99. That's why I didn't want to mention the Brad Katona thing. You ruined our preview.
Sorry.
Yeah, the preview's completely been spoiled. We might talk to Pete Carroll, Fantasy Football Minute.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think we need an update. Yeah.
We need the music.
This is what I've been waiting for this my whole life. I can't wait.
It's time to get called up. Just like we can't get enough pizza, and then he'll finish off the week on the crack.
And then we really finish off the week with the Helwani Vision broadcast.
Let's go.
I mean, yeah, you know what? You are getting spoiled. It is an embarrassment of content, but we ain't stopping. We just getting started. PT can't wait for the crack on Friday. Tremendous debut here on the AH show, but we don't end here. Much more to come. Boys in the Back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, same time, same channel. And then, of course, PT, 1 p.m. Eastern with the crack. Heading into the weekend, Helwani Vision, 4 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on DAZN PPV. Frankie, let's go home. How you feeling, Frank? Look at this one. I mean,
I feel great.
Am I crazy, or were there clouds before?
There were clouds.
There were a ton
there
of
was
clouds.
A plane that came by.
Was there a plane?
There
You
really
scrub
was.
through the YouTube channel and like go real fast. You can see the window.
So
doing what a window does.
Vindicated.
Allowing you to see the outside world.
Vindicated. Thumbs up in the chat.
We got to find something new, man. We have so many options.
No, listen.
Need a better catchphrase.
Thumbs up in the chat. Has the picture been better today? Have we gotten 1% better every single day? Are we continuing to get better? Is the belt back? Do I have this now? I mean,
No, you're not going to have that anymore. This was a one and done.
I mean, where else would you rather be than right here, right now, as the great Marv Levy once said, head coach of your Buffalo Bills. And by the way, congratulations to the Buffalo Bills on the acquisition of one Amari Cooper. And congratulations to my good friend, my close personal friend, Joshua Allen, on 100 starts this Sunday. Yeah, how about that? How about that? 100 starts for my big guy. JA17. So much more. I usually we kind of sign off for the week here, but we ain't signing off, my friends. We are on the road to battle the Giants. What a chat with Chris Eubank Jr. What a chat with Demetrious Johnson. Tremendous stuff from Brandon Royval. Thank you so much as well to the defending champion, Johnny Eblen. Good luck to him this weekend. Thanks to all of you who sent in questions. Thanks to all of them. Back on on Thursday, same time and place. Until then, we say peace.